Hey everybody, it's a bonus stream here on a late Sunday night on the West Coast. Victoria, BC, you're joining me, Beej, on the Loading Ready Run Twitch stream. Glad to see all of you out there. We are starting like right away after the countdown and stuff. I can take the headphones off now. It's fun to be able to hear myself though in my own ears. But I can do that when I take the headphones off too. And I'll try not to be too over loud or whatever. If you find that there's not enough volume, clarity, bass, let me know. I'll give you whatever you need. Hopefully you saw the tweets, hopefully you saw the go live, and hopefully you are joining me right now on Twitch and enjoying this. And hello to all of you out there in YouTube land. I know that you also enjoy these. I have no idea how many of you actually watch, so sound off in the comments, I guess. Let's ruin that thread. Keeps everybody from talking about anime, doesn't it? Before I begin, patreon.com/loadingreadyrun, a great place to help support the channel and the overall business that we do here. Also, YouTube memberships in the main channel, youtube.com/loadingreadyrun. And there's also all of you who back us here on Twitch, and you already know how to do your thing here. I guess I should point out, if you have Amazon Prime, that means you have a Twitch Prime subscription, just sitting there waiting. And if you haven't used it anywhere yet, you might want to use it here. And if you don't want to use it here, find somebody else to use it on. That's just free stuff that's going by every month that you're not using anywhere else. Maybe your parents or your grandparents have an Amazon Prime subscription. Utilize that. Get them signed up to support the channel. You got to renew it every single month. There's lots of also friends of Loading Ready Run that you might want to back as well, because hey, put some of your money here. Maybe send Bezos bucks to one of our friends of the channel. I'm drinking tea. It is tea. Wait a second. That is Darjeeling Tippy Golden Flowery Orange Pico. I know this because that's what the label said. That's the top-notch orange pico. That's the stuff that's a step above. And I guess I should also point out the Tokyo Treat showed up, and this is the Umaibo Premium, because it's as a Christmas gift was inside. This is apparently mozzarella and camembert flavor. But then it was a double Umaibo, because there's also the chocolate Umaibo that showed up for Christmas. And what's weird is that neither of these are the same size as a normal Amiibo. This one's little, this one's big. So I'll be having the chocolate one at some point throughout the stream, I'm sure. And I'm also picking at tiny pieces of Hershey's Special Dark, because we have some left over from when we were making s'mores. So a little bit of stuff to eat there. I'm mostly just treading water because I don't do streams by myself anymore. And when they're kind of like self-directed, it's always weird for me, because at least if I'm playing like a video game, it's like, now let's play the video game. But whenever I'm doing a talking stream, it always feels like, has everyone shown up? Is there people here on time? Are we good to go? I'm guessing we're good to go. Let's set over to the right corner here. We are looking at, I should explain what the stream is. Beej's Anime Roundup has kind of been traditionally a roundup of what's been going on in the last 3 months, basically the last cour of anime production or anime presentation, anime broadcast, coming to you from Japan, which is where all the greatest anime is made. And we might get into that tonight, but it's my review of the stuff I watched. I don't even bother with the stuff I didn't watch. And my preview of what's coming up in winter. This has always run like 3 hours long, so hopefully we'll get through it faster, is what I say every single time. Oh, and I forgot to point out the store, right? store.loadingreadyrun.com. If you don't live in the UK or the EU, you are able to buy stuff from the store, and feel free to let me know. There's shirts have already been paid for, and I believe means that they're probably going to be entering the inventory probably by next week, is my hope. But given the snow situations in the warehouse and given delivery stuff all over the United States, there could be all sorts of things getting backed up. We try to do everything fairly local to Seattle, Washington, but you never know if something's going to hold up the part of the production. So we'll see what happens. And Inkslayer wants the EU shipping to get resolved soon. So do I. It is a priority for me this year to find our best option. I'm the merch guy here at Loading Ready Run, and I am trying to get all of that set up. But I'm just so tired, and I know that sucks. But for you to hear that, it's like, oh, Beej can't do this because he's tired. It's like, yeah, Beej is tired. Be fine. Beej will be fine soon. Let's talk about what I'm seeing here at anniechart.net. That's the site I'm looking at. If you were to go there, your site might end up looking like this. But yeah, this is anniechart.net. I zoom in to get to the point where it's nice and big on the screen. We treat it like it's we use the responsive design, so it's like on a device or a phone. So let's get right to it. It begins. 86 part 2. Didn't watch it. Let's move on. I didn't want to start here. I didn't want to start here. F. Fine. I'm watching this. I'm watching Blade Runner Black Lotus. Why? Because I watched... So I tried watching Blade Runner when I was a lot younger, in my 20s. I watched it and was like, I watched it, I guess. Sci-fi, touchstone, everyone's got it. I read the short story. I'm like, okay, I see how these... And then when Blade Runner 2049 was coming out, I think Cameron and Alex were like, we should watch the original. And before we even go to the thing. So we watched Blade Runner Final Cut, I think. A bunch of us got together and watched it. And... Excuse me, and I was like, okay. I'm following this a lot better. I'm getting the whole, people speculating, is he a replicant, is he not a replicant, whatever. But interesting movie. And I'm like, okay, great. So then we went and saw 2049, and I was like, okay, this 2049 is good. I enjoyed this movie. I remember scenes from it. I don't remember what the overall psychological impact or... a lot of that's supposed to from that. Maybe those things just don't sit with me, but but it's fine. I enjoyed it. I was like, okay, this is cool. This is whatever. But they're not touchstones for me. But I was like, well, I'll watch this. I'll watch Blade Runner Black Lotus, and we'll see how this goes. And what I got from this was, Production IG probably wanted to make a Blade Runner anime before they started making Ghost in the Shell. And they couldn't ever work on that, but they did get Masamune Shirow's Ghost in the Shell, right? So they're working on that, and they've created a whole bunch of Ghost in the Shell stuff. And then they were like, we're going to keep making that. And then Crunchyroll and Adult Swim came along and said, hey, we want to make anime. We love Production IG's work because they worked on Ghost in the Shell, and we love that because it's about an ass-kicking woman who has a gun and is in a robot body. And how'd you guys like to make Blade Runner? Because we can probably get the rights to that. And then I'm making all this shit up, by the way. I'm just assuming this is how this went down. And Production IG was like, oh shit, yeah, we always wanted to do Blade Runner. We just had to do this other thing instead. And so then they made this. And I talked to Ian today, and Ian was like, it could have been that the people were like, man, I want to make an anime about Blade Runner. Who should we go see? Oh man, I love Production IG because I love all the new Ghost in the Shell stuff. Great, we'll go see them. And Production IG's like, shit, we're between projects, we'll pick it up. So it's like, who knows why this confluence of events happened? But man, it sure is filled with kung fu fights with swords and big weird guns and brooding Japanese men who I guess you'll maybe want to be, and all sorts of stuff that seems... It all takes place in Los Angeles, where it does nothing but rain and his nighttime, and it sure has to do with, oh man, what if we hunted robots for sport? Like I guess I have an expectation that when people do sci-fi these days, is that they at least try to do something real with it, like something new and something it's like stuff we need to say. Everything that is going on in this show has been said, right? And yeah, Kumatsu, you have nailed it. And thank you to Cameron and Corey. What if you watch Blade Runner and were sympathetic to the robots? Like, there's just so much. I didn't feel like anything new was being said or being explored about the nature of what it's like to be a replicant. Because in this case, the replicant is the hero. Like, is that the heroine? She's the one you're concentrating on. And I was just like, okay, you get a story that puts replicant front and center. You know she's a replicant. You know that this is the thing that's supposed to be happening, and it's a revenge-driven story and has to do with the most dangerous game. Like, and there's all this stuff, and I'm just like, okay, so you, great, but why? But why? Like, what new anything did you give us? I don't feel like you did, and it sucks because I feel like what that means is whoever was writing the story, if they thought that they were like, I'm going to be, like, I'm going to tell a great story, it's going to be interesting. Like, what you did was make action in the action story in the Blade Runner universe. And I had recently just watched The Matrix like a few days ago, and I'm like, there's something where people were like, we're trying to say something new. We're trying to explore something different. We're trying to give you, like, from back in 1999, we wanted to give you a new idea of something that could be happening and really put that up on the screen and really kind of wow you with the things that you can, like, the stuff you can watch as a movie, but also the things that you could consider at even like a philosophy 101 level, because not all of you got to go to college. And it's like, sure, that's great. And I guess that's what my expectation is of any sort of premier, highly appreciated sci-fi art, is that at least you're getting that kind of thing out of it. I didn't feel like there was anything new being put on the table. I'm up to episode 9, and I'm just like, I don't feel like there's anything new being put on the table for me. Maybe the last 4 episodes will introduce an interesting twist or an interesting new wrinkle about why things have gone on this way, or how she's been a pawn the entire time, or who knows. And even then, it's like, well, then I'm seeing that coming. And it's hard, I guess, to be surprised sometimes with what a story's going to do to you. Is it any good? It's action, sci-fi-ish. It's all right. Looks good on my pretty TV. Sounds good on my nice sound system. The music is like, and I'm like, yeah, every song sounds exactly the same. Every set of lyrics is exactly the same. It's like they wrote 3 lines of stuff and then somebody half sings them over top of the hook. And I'm just like, man, this is fucking depressing. This is what's coming out of this now. But whatever. Anyway, not a fan, but am watching it, will finish watching it, and we'll see how it all works out. Build Divide, Code Black, didn't watch it. Moving on. Card Fight, Vanguard, Overdress, Season 2. Continuation of a thing that I didn't watch. Didn't watch this either. Deep Insanity, The Lost Child. I guess I'm also feeling weird these days. It's a sequel, but I feel weird these days about the more I'm seeing people use the word insane or insanity, because I keep having keep having people say, "Oh, hey, there's a real like the ableist language and the neurotypical language and stuff like that." And I'm like, yeah, I got to be watching that myself, and I need to be substituting. When I mean insane, I don't actually mean insane. I guess I mean ridiculous or silly or peculiar or a lot of other words that are out there. And so every time I see insanity or insane or whatever come up, I just always kind of feel like, oh, that's weird and unfortunate. I'm hearing skittering. there might be a mouse in our place. I think we've talked about it before. As long as the mouse doesn't fall on me, it'll be great. Or it'll be really good. It'll be really good comedy for when that happens. Anyway, didn't watch this. Cool. Digimon Ghost Game. Didn't watch that. Moving on. Gyakuten Sekai no Denshi Shoujo. Did I watch this? Turnabout Worlds something. I didn't watch this. Nope. Moving on. Hanyo no Yashihime ni no Sho. It's the second season of Yashihime, which we stopped watching. I think I'm not sure what really why we stopped watching it. We just stopped watching it. Heather wasn't interested in watching anymore, and I was kind of like, I don't think I'm interested anymore either. I'm like, I don't think it's bad, especially if you like Inuyasha. Then this, here you go. Like it is the continuation of the Inuyasha universe thing, and there's the three girls at the center of it, and do enjoy it. That is largely, I'm not terribly interested in, because I never watched the first one to begin with. So Isekai Shokudo 2. Now this, Restaurant to Another World, as they've localized it as. We watched Isekai Shokudo to begin with. It's very charming. It's very cute. We watched this one and actually enjoyed it. It has that thing where it kind of suffers from the the food is the interesting pivot, because it's supposed to be, this is a restaurant that once a week on the day of Saturn, the door only opens to another world, but it opens to multiple places in the other world. And then all these people come through, dragons and demons and samurai and halflings and vampires, and they all, Romeo and Juliet, they all come through to enjoy food here, but they can only do it once. They can only do it once a week, and it tends to be a closely guarded secret among those who do show up, because it's like, I don't want anyone else really to know about this, because I want to be able to get here for so I can eat. But you spread that information around to different people so that they can also see what it is that you're doing. I'm like, okay, that's cool. And there's interesting stuff about like the relationships that develop between people, and that's fun. And I'm glad that exists, and like that they've put more into it, and we really enjoyed this. We really enjoyed this series, the second season of this. And if they end up making another series, we'll watch more of that as well. So yeah, that was fun. The descriptive nature of like, oh, I'm eating this thing and it's perfect this and it's perfect that, and I am always a fan, or I'm sorry, it drives me wild whenever I see somebody say, this is perfect with this, and this is the perfect to this, because I don't think that's true. Because it's never perfect. I want you to talk about why it's a good match. It's like, this is a great match because of these reasons, but this is the perfect match because of this. And I'm like, you don't know that. It's the first time you're eating this meal. You have no idea if this pairs with anything else any better. It's that kind of that perfect is the enemy of good. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want you to say this is perfect. I want you to say this is really good, or this is not good, or this is an exceptional pairing of this thing, or I really enjoyed eating this because of these reasons. But I have seen, like, whenever I read a food blog, if somebody has the word perfect in one of their entries, I go read, like, if they've written another blog and they've written that something else is perfect as well, I'm kind of like, yeah, no, okay, no, you've run out of ways to express how much you've enjoyed something. You just think that it's perfect, and I'm like, yeah, that makes me feel like, no, it's not. It's especially when that restaurant goes under 6 weeks later. It's like, I don't care how perfect it is. Apparently, it's not perfect enough that people are like, I have to have this thing because it's the ultimate pairing of these two things. I'm like, yeah. Anyway, great show, a lot of fun. I will watch more if they make more of it. Kimetsu no Yaiba, Mugen Resha-hen. Oh, you look strong. I didn't watch the original, didn't watch this one. Komi-san wa komyusho desu. I am reading the manga, which is over 300 chapters. It's so good. I really love this manga. I was hoping they'd make it into an anime. Hard sell when the main character Komi, she she is able to speak. She has a phobia. She has like the commusio refers to a communication disorder. It's that she wants to try to talk to people. She finds it very hard to talk. In which case, you might say it's almost like she has a psychological block against being able to vocalize things. But she's able to write stuff out to people. And yeah, I really I love the series. I love that it kind of acts as a. There's several things going on in the series. One, that all of the characters in the series, uh, they look at Comey and they put their own things on her shoulders. Like even she'll walk into like a ramen place and sit down to eat and not know what to order, but the chef will look at her, who also silently waiting for her to order, and realize that she's not saying anything, is struck by her beauty and her coolness, and is like, I get it, and then goes ahead and makes her what she wants to eat. But in some cases, it's not what she wants to eat, but it's like this will be good enough, and she eats it, and it's like, and all the other characters, basically every character in the school has a pun name that is based on their one personality trait that is their predominant personality trait, and which also is just makes it like gag comedy the entire way. And we get like interpersonal relationship stuff. It's supposed to be a bit of a romance, but it's kind of not. You don't really get a lot of that. So, but I love it. I think it's very sweet. I think that all the characters do very much try hard to do their thing, and yeah, I it it's and it ended so. I was so happy with how it ended. Um, and if you haven't seen the end of it yet, I'm not going to say why, but you have to watch the whole thing. So the last minute or so is just after the credits. It's just I really loved what they did. It was great. So definite high watch for me. It was like I can't wait for this to come out to the next one, and even just to see how they're bringing the manga to the screen. And I think they did a beautiful job adapting it. Kyokai Senki, didn't watch this. Kyuketsuki Sugushinu, something about a vampire. Vampire Hunter. I thought I was going to watch this. I guess I didn't, so I didn't. Lupin the Third, Lupin Sansei, Part 6. This was unusual to me because I forgot that in like the previous recent Lupins, the part 4 and part 5, they did a thing where we're gonna do the story, but it's only about 5 or 6 episodes of the entire series, and then we're gonna do the other stories. Are just gonna be excerpts of Lupin's adventures in other places and other times, and so you get to see these other things that are going on. They do like a time skip story as well, like it's real weird. And yeah, this is not a time skip. This is present day, present time, except Sherlock Holmes exists, and it's a very, I think it's a really, this is yet another really good Lupin, and I'm glad that they're making more episodes of it. As you can see, episode 15 to 25, this is going to continue on. I enjoyed this. I had a good time watching this. I cannot wait to see more of it. I guess I always have a good time watching the modern Lupin stuff, so yeah. Megaton Q Musashi. I did not watch this. Miruko-chan. I think I'd meant to watch this. I know that the manga's out, and I can't remember. Yeah, comedy, horror, slice of life, like kind of a weird mix of stuff. I thought I was looking at the manga for this, and then I stopped. I don't remember, but I've heard people really love the manga for this, so maybe this is also good too as an anime. Mushoku Tensei Isekai Ittara Honki Dasu Part 2. Well, I didn't watch the first one, so moving on. Mute King, the Dancing Hero. No, didn't watch this. Muv-Luv Alternative, based on a visual novel thing. I'm not familiar with Muv-Luv. Maybe watching the alternative one is maybe a way to get into the story, but also didn't really care about that either. So, okay, here we go. Osama Ranking, or Ranking of Kings. for everything it puts out here, it doesn't. I thought this was going to be very tournament anime style, but I still wanted to watch it just because. I mean, look at the image, right? Like it's kind of like, what's this child in his underwear? Like it's kind of like, what is going on here? Um, and I thought, there's lots of personal growth and whatnot. This is very, this is paced slowly and quickly. A lot of things are going to happen in the first 13 episodes, and yet every episode is going to feel like we just want to look at this instance, this thing, and you're like, I want more to happen almost, but it wouldn't be good if it did. And I want you to feel sympathy. I want you to empathize with everybody's situation here. And it is a very unusual it's a very unusual show. I did not expect it to like play like this, but in terms of like adventure and fantasy, it's like, yeah, it's not a drama, it's not a comedy, but there are dramatic parts, there's comedic parts. And it's just very, you think that there's going to be more happening, especially between Prince Boji and between Kage. Kage's that weird shadow that's two eyes of the shadow people who are great assassins because they can kind of slip in anywhere and they can kill people and stuff. And you think that it's going to be about, okay, the two of them meet and they become friends and they go off on an adventure and he's going to grow to be a mighty king. It's like, no, he starts as a prince who's not really, he's not able to wield like a heavy sword and do whatever. He's deaf. He cannot speak. He can vocalize, but he doesn't say words. He learns to read lips over time, and you can see that characters are learning sign language and teaching him sign language, which I'm like, you didn't get that for free. Like I always say about animation, right? You get nothing for free in animation. Having to actually have somebody do sign language, and maybe it's not accurate to like whatever ASL is or like international sign language or whatever, but the fact that somebody is actually doing a complicated motion with their hands and their arms, and moving fingers in certain ways, I'm kind of like, that's at least something. That's a shorthand for being able to show this off. And I'm like, this is good. This is a very good show, and I hope more people get a chance to watch it because I think I don't know about being an important show yet. I don't know about being any of those other kind of things. I do know that in terms of entertainment, I think it's a great entertainment option. I think it's something you can sit down and be like, I can be drawn into the story and really enjoy what's going on, and kind of wish that there was more there is more coming, but I wish I could be watching more of it all the time. So, yeah, I've been enjoying this. Platinum End. I did not watch Platinum End. Pura Ore, Pride of Orange. If everyone remembers what happened here on the last time I did one of these, where I'm like, oh, cool, it's about girls who have a hockey team, and it looks like straight up we're gonna have a hockey team, and I'm like, yeah. And then Pat Bear, who I don't know if has shown up yet or not, or is in the chat, had pointed out, and then they perform as idols, and I'm like, that doesn't say a damn thing. Where is that? Oh, that's in the, wait, what are you talking about? Oh my god, the music tag, oh my god. So I watched the first episode of it. Yeah, this is like, I don't care if it's good. After watching the first episode, I was like, no, I can't take it seriously. I can't get myself interested. I don't care. You had every opportunity to make this be like, let's watch these girls play hockey and really just hockey some shit up. And instead it's like, let's make sure we have this other aspect to it because we need to try to drag people into the show. And the thing is, like, if you watch Uma Musume, they do that thing of, great, let's have the girls go up and perform on stage and do whatever. I think that happens twice over the entire, maybe 3 times, over the entire, like, first production of it. That happened, like, maybe twice, and it just feels like that's fine. Like, great, you put this in there, I guess, to grab all the idol otaku to get them and like want to watch this thing and be interested in it, but ultimately that stuff doesn't matter. But I'm like, I I don't want to wait for you to pull the rug out from under me to discover that these girls are spending half their time learning how to play hockey and half their time learning how to dance and sing and half their time being in high school and half their time in part-time jobs and half their time, mooning about guys or something like that, because everybody has really busy lives. I just like, no, I don't buy it. I don't buy this. I could put my brain on hold for the horse girl thing because they were horse girls, and it's such a weird concept. This is like, we have women's hockey already. They don't do this shit, and it's fine that they don't. So why did it have to be bundled in? So I don't care about this. So we'll move on. I guess we'll keep moving on because I didn't watch Saihate no Paladin. So we move on. Sakugan, I didn't watch that either, so we will move off. Look at all those. Look at all those words: colony, the labyrinth, markers, Gagumber. Gagumber's a good name. But we'll move on. Sankaku Mada no Sotagawa wa Yoru, didn't watch that either. Sekai Sako no Ansasha Isekai Kizoku ni Tensei Suru. World's number one assassin, being reincarnated as the eldest son of a family of aristocrat assassins. Okay, didn't watch that. Selection Project, didn't watch that. Senpai ga Uzai Kohai no Hanashi. I watched this. Why? Because I'm reading the manga. An interesting thing, the manga is full color. I think because it's probably a web manga first. And this was fun. This was a lot of fun. It's not... It says comedy, romance, slice of life. It's set up in a way you're supposed to be feeling like, okay, the senpai and the kohai, that Futaba, who's the kohai there, she's the one being held up by her senpai, Harumi, Takuya senpai. They both work at the same place. This is an office kind of situation. They work together on things that their trading company does, which is, if you've ever seen a James Bond movie, you know that a trading company is a great cover to do stuff because nobody really knows or cares what it is that you do for a living. And so it can never be depicted on screen in a way that can be interesting. And so they did the same thing here. It's a trading company, and who knows what having accounts and landing big contracts even means. It's mangaka shorthand for they do a job in an office and money is made and people are happy about that when it happens. I long for the day when somebody gets really into the nitty gritty for a chapter to kind of lay out what it is that goes on in a company. Because I'm like, yes, I want that. I want to see you just lose your minds over like how intricate the trading environment is and what it is that you import and export and all that stuff. And it's like, yeah, I care. I want to see that stuff because I want to know that they care. But who cares? Other than I care. Anyway, fun series though, because it's kind of her getting flustered by her senpai, being really nice to her, but also by the coworkers kind of like making it seem like, oh, hey, are you interested in him? Shut up, whatever. Hey, let's go get lunch together. Hey, let's go to the beach together. We're all going to the beach together? Yeah, let's go hang out on the beach. Let's all go to the beach so we can all hang out and all be in swimsuits. Oh my god, I gotta buy a swimsuit? What? And yeah, it's just like, take all the stuff you know about the high school kind of thing, put it in, make everybody a little bit older, and then watch how the relationships kind of play out. And I think they're fun because it's 3 different couples. The one woman you can't really see down here, Mona, who I think is half Russian, she doesn't get enough play in the manga or in the show as far as I'm concerned. She's a lot of fun because she's one of those ones who's like, she's the disruptor. She just kind of gets in there and is like, and it's like, I'm gonna say or do this thing, and just kind of slide in and just do this thing, and then I'm gonna slide out of the whatever, and everyone's gonna be kind of like what the hell just happened? What was that? Like, which is, I think, is a lot of fun. Anyway, I enjoyed this. If they make more of it, I'll be so happy to watch more of it. We'll see what happens. In the manga, which has been like 87 chapters or whatever, they have not built to a resolution so far, and it's very slow burn romances all around. Let's see here. Shikizakura, didn't watch it. Yep, didn't watch it. Okay. Shin no nakama janai toyusha no party wo oirasareta no de henkyou de slow life suru koto ni shimashita. Uh, okay. Banished from the hero's party, I decided to live a slow life in the outskirts. I believe is how they translated it. Um, anyway, there's a man named Gideon who gets talked out of being in the hero's party. The hero happens to be his younger sister, and he leaves the party, and he moves to a small town or a small province or whatever called Zoltan, and he sets up a pharmacy. He changed his name to Red because he's like, I don't want anybody to know who I am, and I can't really go back to where I came from because it's kind of not okay. And and then while he's starting that whole life up, and he's like, this will be fine, and nobody will know who I am. And then this really hot, really busty woman that he knew from before when he was adventuring with the heroes party. She's not part of the heroes party. She was a daughter of a duke, and she's an adventurer in her own right. She shows up, Rito. She shows up, and they get to know it. They talk a little bit more. Turns out that she's always kind of liked him anyway. They start a life together, and I'm like, this is great because, and I read the manga because I was like, this is great. I want this to be. This is the two of them starting a thing, and then every so often in the manga you get like a bit where here's what's going on with the heroes party, and they're off doing this thing. And I'm like, I don't care. I want just what is going on here. And you can introduce another character who maybe knows him from his past too, if you wanted to do that at some point to introduce tension or whatever. But I just want to see these two getting along and trying to figure out how to have sex with each other eventually, because that eventually happens. It does happen in the anime that they figure it out too, so good for them. Because it's always a hard, needle to thread, obviously. And yeah, and instead it gets much bigger than that, and I'm sure the manga gets much bigger than that too. But it was good. I liked it. The songs are good. The opening theme is really good. The ending theme I never really listened to, but I like the opening theme. It was fun. And yeah. Oh yeah, everybody has a blessing. That's right. Thank you, Driosanth. I like the big conceit of the premise is that the gifts given to everybody during childhood have an effect on their personality. In as much as the hero, Gideon's little sister, Red's little sister, was given the hero's blessing, but she didn't know what that meant. But it's a strong compulsion to want to like save people and protect people and do right by people. And she didn't like that because she didn't understand why she had to care so much about other people's problems, especially when it got her into more scrapes and more trouble. But as the blessings develop, they have buffs and stuff that, for example, Ruti, that's the name of the hero, she doesn't have to sleep or eat. She doesn't feel hot or cold, and it has basically robbed her of all of her emotions because she's basically just on a path to finding the demon lord and killing the demon lord. And that's all her hero's blessing asks her to do. So it takes away all the other things that she needs to do that, and that makes her a very interesting character as well. I wasn't that interested about those kind of things. So anyway. But it is a good show, and it's interesting to see how things play out. So, yeah, give it a watch. 13 episodes, not terribly long. It was good. Shinka no mi shiranai uchi ni kachigumi jinsei. Okay. Hiragi Seiichi is an ugly, revolting, dirty, smelly fat ass. Excellent. I didn't watch this either. Taisho Otome Otogi Benashi. If you want to talk about fucking tonal shift... Taisho Maiden's love story. however they changed it. This was hard to watch because the first 3 or 4 episodes are just like, oh god. Here's the morose young guy. He's lost the use of his right arm. It's still on his body, but he just can't really use it. He has no muscle control with it or whatever. I guess he can kind of lift his arm up from the shoulder or whatever, but he can't really do much else with it. He can't hold things. He can't hold on to whatever. And then Yuzuki gets bought to be his wife. Tamahiko's dad is like, you're a very powerful family, and now you're going to let us all down by not being able to use your right arm. So I'm sending you off to sending you from Tokyo and putting you in our house in Chiba, and you're gonna live there. And this is very like this is the Taisho era, which is a really interesting area. And so he's like, yes, I'm worthless and I'm useless and I will never be able to do anything and I should just die. And he's like, well, I'm not going to let you go away and die because that would be incorrect of me. But as far as I'm concerned, we're going to treat you like you're dead, and your brother and your sister have to treat you like you're dead. We're all going to treat you like you're dead. So tough shit. But in exchange for that, we're saying to this house, you can live there, and I'm going to buy you a wife. And he's like, whatever, I don't care. And then Yuzuki shows up. She's like 14 years old, and she gets purchased to due to a debt that her family has with the Shima corporations or whatever, the Zaibatsu, whatever they were called back then. I don't think they were Zaibatsu back then. And so, but she shows up and she's like, I'm gonna be his wife, I guess, because that's what I'm gonna do. And she shows up and she's this little ray of sunshine, and he's like, oh, this person actually like why would anybody be interested in me? This person's actually interested in making sure I'm eating food and making sure that I'm going about my daily whatever. And she has this thing right away where she's like, when she shows up, she's really cold, and he takes off his big jacket and he puts it around her. He's like, you should come in and sit down and get warm and eat some whatever. And she's like, wow, he just was straight up nice to me when I met him. I think I could grow to love this person if this is who he really is. And it's like, okay, fine. And there's a slow blossoming of whatever between them. They introduce other female characters. His little sister shows up. She's a pain in the ass. I'm gonna throw spoilers down here, by the way. So if you don't want to hear this part, feel free to put me on mute until we move past this. But so little sister shows up, and she's a pain in the ass, and she's very haughty, and she's whatever, and she's like, I'm going to, make your life miserable because you are useless and you are dead, and so what does it matter? I will stay here in the thing and I'll do whatever. And Yuzuki's just ray of sunshineness just kind of eventually just overwhelms Tamako, the sister, to the point where it's like the whole reason why Tamako is such a shit is because everybody in the Shima family has been treated like shit by the dad. The dad pits them against each other all the time, has taught them to be cruel, has taught them to be like vicious and ruthless and whatever. And this is just how they get on with each other. And Yuzuki just being nice to Tamako for a while and just trying to encourage in her like nice things got Tamako to a point where she's like, oh my god, somebody actually cares about me. And it's like, it's a parallel to what's going on with Tamahiko. Oh, there's somebody here who actually wants to care about me, who wants to like me, who wants to get to know me as a person. And then Tamako has this great revelation, is like, I always wanted to be a doctor. I'd like to do that. And she eventually she calls her uncle, who is not, he's part of the Shima family, he's not really part of the Shima family anymore, calls her uncle, who's a doctor, is like, I want to study to do that. And he's like, yeah, okay, I'll help you study to be a doctor. And she's like, I'm going to go do that. I'm like a 14-year-old girl in Japan, or 13 or 14-year-old girl, but I'm going to go apprentice to learn how to be a doctor, and I'm going to work with my uncle, and he's going to teach me things, and I'm going to go to schools and universities. I'm going to do that, and whole shit, I've changed my life by meeting this girl. So this thing of meet this girl and do this whatever. And I'm like, okay, so she's had this sea change on the younger sister, and the younger sister takes off. Well, we're out of conflict, so let's throw in a local girl who she shows up to rob them of some stuff. And when she shows up, she manages to trick Tamahiko with her feminine wiles, and make him think that she's coming on to him, right? And he doesn't understand why. And she's doing that and making him feel awkward and making him feel like he's doing something wrong by participating in this conversation. And then she takes off, and then she manages to convince Yuzu that, oh no, I'm his mistress, like we were together last night and these whatevers, isn't that right? And he's like, I could explain this, but because it's an anime moment, I can't actually explain anything out loud to let everybody know what's going on. And then Yuzu's like heartbroken, and it's very like this touching moment. I'm like, hey, look, more bullshit's happened. And I'm like, whatever. And so, but then through Yuzu being a goddamn ray of sunshine and the overall influence on that, and then Tamahiko's like, you know what, he goes to go talk to her and finds out that she lives with her four brothers, and her dad's like a drunk and he beats them, and she has to bear the brunt of that so that he doesn't hurt the brothers and like all that kind of stuff. And he's like, oh, this is all terrible and whatever. And they resolve that somehow. And Ryo, the girl, is like, oh, I am turned around by the kindness you have shown me, which is the kindness that Yuzu has shown you, and the kindness that Yuzu is showing me. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then we go through that. And then another girl shows up later who's, I know I'm getting into a lot of this stuff, right? And it's like, this was kind of a thing that goes on over and over. I'm just like, a new girl shows up and that complicates things. Another new girl shows up and that complicates things. And like, this is what's going to happen. But everything seems to be growing, and they're getting together. I'm not trying to sell anybody on this. I'm just trying to explain what it is, by the way. And so we get through this. He doesn't build a harem. It's never actually, and that's the thing. It's very like, even though more women characters show up, it has the scent of Oh My Goddess about it, where it's like, no, the two main characters are supposed to be together. That's what's going to happen. We're just throwing in new characters to give you something fun to watch and to muddy the waters. But ultimately, this is Keiichi and Belldandy. They're going to have to be together. That's how that's supposed to work, right? Which I love Oh My Goddess. Anyway, so he eventually learns that he's like, because the kids, Ryo's brothers, come to see her because she's now cooking with Yuzu at the house on the hill, and the brothers show up and they have kind of nothing to do, and the kids in the whatever have nothing to do, and she's like, you have to do your homework, and they don't know how to do stuff, so they keep trying to bug Ryo. And then Tamahiko's like, well, what are you having trouble with? He's like, we're trying to learn this. And he's like, oh, you do this by doing da 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 da. He starts explaining stuff to them. The kids start to learn stuff, and because he has a high school education, or like he just kind of got to high school education, and before he had to drop out and pretend to be dead, and so he starts tutoring all of them, and all of the kids are like, now he's got like 15 kids in the neighborhood are coming to see him to get their initial lessons and to kind of do that kind of thing. And he realizes, he's like, there's actually more I can do with my life than just nothing. Like I have found a thing I can do, and if I'm going to do that, then I need to go back to school so I can learn things, and maybe I should become a teacher. And so I'll talk to my uncle and get help from him to do that. Or the uncle, I think, reached out because Yuzu talked to Tamako, who talked to the uncle, and the uncle reached out and said, you can go to high school if you want. I'll back you so you can do that. We'll make sure we can get all that to work. You don't have to talk to your dad about it at all. And it's like, oh, everything's turning around. This is great. This is awesome. Like, and they meet this pop star, and she's really nice, and she wants to watch the two of them fall in love, and so she can write a song about it. And it's like, oh, that's really nice too. And he meets a friend at school, and the dude, it's very kind of weird yaoi vibes for a second. It's like, what's going on? I don't really know what's going on there. And then you have a whole story, those two, right? And it's like, okay, whatever. And it's like, but everything's kind of coming together, and it's so good. And then Yuzu's like, I have to go meet my friend who I know from school because she's pregnant. And her boyfriend is from Kyushu, and the boyfriend's already said, I'm really sorry about getting your daughter pregnant, but we're gonna get married and we're gonna move to Kyushu. And she's like, I'm never gonna see her again if I don't get a chance to meet her. And he's like, oh, Tamahiko's like, you should go see her. And Yuzu's like, all right, I'm gonna go see her. And they kiss and they part, and she gets on the train and she meets her friend, and it's great, and they're having such a great time. And then all of a sudden, what was that? Screen cuts to black. September 1st, 1880 or whatever it was. The Great Kanto Earthquake. I think it's 1902 or whatever it was. The Great Kanto Earthquake. 3 minutes before the end of that episode. 1923. Thank you, Doodles. You want to talk total shift? And the thing is, like, I knew the era, and I was like, yeah, wait, bam! And I'm like, holy shit! And this leveled, the Great Kanto Earthquake leveled Tokyo. Nothing but matchstick cities. Like, that's just everything around that era. Just, it was all wood, and it was just all wham! And the last 2 or 3 episodes are these two trying to find each other. Or rather, Tamahiko trying to find Yuzu. because she tries to find him, and then we lose track of her, and we don't know, and then it's Tamahiko trying to find her, and he has to. The trains aren't running. He has to walk from Chiba, and you're like, well, that can't be much. That's 30 kilometers or more, I think, to get to where the Tokyo station, and it's like, good story, good story. Ultimately, yeah, good story. And they wrap it up, which is great, but it was a good story. And I'm glad I watched it. I don't feel like I don't feel I feel like some stuff could have been done maybe a little I don't know, but good story. All right, it's 10:03. I've been live for almost an hour. We're going to go for about 5 more minutes, and then I will take that break. So, yeah. Let's keep rolling on. Tact Op. Destiny, didn't watch that. Tesla Note, didn't watch that. Tsuki no Laika to Nosferatu. Every time the the image that I have on my home server for this is literally the image you're seeing right now, but it says something about like the moon and this and the blood-sucking princess or blood-sucking something or other. But whenever I see it, I always think it says the butt-fucking princess, and I'm like, and I giggle because I'm like, I'm a child. But yeah, because it's written in blue on purple, and you can't fucking read it because it's so poorly done. But this is about vampire cosmonauts in what is not what is not the USSR. I watched the first episode with Heather, and we both just kind of went, really, and then we both stopped. I can watch more of it, and maybe I will watch a few more episodes to see if it's any good. I just wanted to see what would happen, because really, it was the idea when I talked about this. I was like, it's the idea of we have a race of people that when you expose them to sun, they die like quickly. So what we should do is we should put them in a capsule and send them into space, where the sun is probably going to be visible every 45 minutes. You know, maybe no windows. Maybe just don't put any windows in that capsule. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know if it's any good, because the first one I watched, it didn't impress me enough to make me feel like it was like better. So anyway, Visual Prison. Nope, didn't watch that. Watcha Primagi. Nope, didn't watch that. Don't even know if that's the right way I'm saying it. World Trigger 3rd season. Didn't watch the other World Triggers. Yuki Una Ayusha. I have not seen Yuki Una as a hero, so I didn't watch this either. Yeah, let's just keep talking and not talk about what just happened there. So Hyaku Haju. Anyway, 180 Bio de Kimi ni Nini wo Shiase ni Dekiru ka. Did not watch that. Oh, it's ASMR in 180 seconds. Great. Nope, didn't watch that. Didn't watch the Bang Dream thing. Didn't watch Chick Chip Dancers. Tried to watch Deji Meets Girl. The only copy that I could find floating around had either German or Dutch subtitles or something. Spanish. And I couldn't find English ones, so I just missed it. I want to watch this because I'm like, this looks like fun. It's weird and kind of magical things. And like, yeah, I want to see this, but I apparently did not get anything. So Gunma-chan, didn't watch that. Didn't watch Kaginado. Kimi to Fit Boxing. I don't think I ever saw a place to get this, so I did not, but I might look it up if I remember when I get home. Remember, I watched the first season of Yakunada Mug Cup Mo. Did not watch this because I just didn't. The first season did not grab me, so this was not going to grab me either, I figured. Jahi-sama wa Kuji Kenai. This literally finished. Like, I was like, oh, damn, they got to the end. And I was like, great. At least I feel like it's the end. But it was good. It was really fun. It's hard to watch because you're like, oh, Jahi, I'm cheering for you. And if you were just not such a stubborn shit, you could have a much easier life. But part of that is growth, right? So, and it was fun. It was, but you're constantly if you can't look at this face, this specific emotion for multiple half hours at a time, then you will not enjoy Jahi Sama. You have to kind of get along with the fact that she's going to be frustrated and upset. So yeah, she's lovely. Um, she needs to be a better person. But anyway, Scarlet Nexus. I didn't watch that. Shiroi Suna no Aquatope. This was the leftover from last season. We finished watching this. Um, Boy, it's so I had heard it was good ish. The second Kur was rougher to watch because it was definitely. I think I said to people that I'm like, it has definitely been one of those things where the person in charge or your boss is just an ass and will not explain themselves as to why they're an ass. But don't worry, someone who you know will eventually, will at the right time introduce their backstory to you so you understand why they're an ass, and then you'll feel predisposed to let them be an ass towards you. And I'm like, no. No, I don't. I hate that so much. The show I enjoyed, and being able to binge it helps because when the boss is being an asshole, then you can be like, well, I'll watch another episode and I'll see what comes out of that. But I'm like, too much manufactured drama and too much of a boss being a jerk when the boss doesn't have to be a jerk. And just like So yeah, but also I'd heard from somewhere that this was supposed to be very soft Yuri, and I'm kind of like, well, let's see. And if it's the softest Yuri in as much as it is only the whispers of it. It is a gossamer strand drawn across the violin. You can't hear it, you can't see it because it may as well just not be there. Moving on, I no utagoe o kikasete. Haven't watched this. Be nice to. We'll see. Shion is an AI. Yeah. Oh, well, we'll see. Maybe I'll get a chance to see this wherever it is that it's showing. Where actually? Let's see. Will it show me where it's showing? It is being broadcast on Twitter apparently, and on Instagram, and on the web. I don't know where that's available. Aria the Benedizone. We're just going to go a little bit long here before I take my break because we're practically done. Didn't watch that. Didn't watch Dakare Tai Otoko. It's a sequel thing, but didn't watch that. Didn't watch the Eureka movie. I should watch more Eureka 7. I did hear that Eureka 7 is now looking into doing NFTs, so I was like, well, that doesn't ruin the original thing, but Honekami, this looks neat. It was the awarded best of the showcase in the TAIS animation showcase. I don't know. Something about a bomb storage in the mountain behind the family house. Neat. Hula Full of Dance. Sure, I might. If I see it up somewhere, maybe I'll take a look. Who knows? Lots of stuff in the middle of fall about, like, look at how warm it is in other places in the world. Ikita no Kita looks kind of cool. Dozens of Norths. It's a good little name. It's based on the series of cover illustrations and short text that somebody made across 32 issues of the monthly literary magazine Bungaku Kai. Yamamuta Koji has this to say about this. Okay, so hey, maybe that's a thing. Haven't watched it. Could be interesting. Jujutsu Kaisen 0. No, didn't watch that. Didn't watch Kamiarizuki no Kodomo. Probably, didn't watch whatever compilation of Ghost in the Shell standalone complex, or I'm sorry, SAC 2045. Probably a good way to absorb this if you don't want to watch it on Netflix and you're partial to, like, boy, I'd like to get through that. I did watch all of what came out of the first season, and it basically just ends on a cliffhanger, so I would like there to be more of it. Macross Frontier. So in the theatrical short, in the Macross Frontier series released along the movie Macross Delta Zettai Live, because somehow you have to get people into a theater to watch a movie when all they really want to do is just watch the superior goddamn product. But anyway, moving on. Didn't watch that, obviously. Otope Papa Don't Cry, didn't watch that. Didn't watch Princess Principal chapters, whatever. Iko no Yowa Kunai, didn't watch that. Didn't watch Sumiko Gurashi movie. Summer Ghost, no, did not watch that. Looked like a thing I might want to watch, but did not watch that. Didn't watch whatever Sword Art Online thing that is. Tropical Rouge Precure, didn't watch that. Or Uchu Senkan Yamato 202205. 2205. Did not watch that. It's part of a duology. Okay. Maybe Ian's watching that. I did not. Right. Aggressive Retsuko Season 4 has started. Haven't started watching that yet. Looking forward to. Battle Spirits Mirage. Didn't watch that. Didn't watch Blue Period. Something about painting, I guess it is. Bright Samurai Soul. Didn't watch that. Didn't watch whatever this is a spin-off of. Aisere Gensoki. Cool. Whatever. Charms PV. Didn't watch that. Didn't watch Doggy Corgi. Didn't watch episode Kuso. Gone by Doki-chan. I think I tried reading some of this once and then realized that I'm like, I hate this. So I didn't watch it. Didn't watch the special either. Getsuyobi no Tawa 2. Read a lot of this, but I'm like, but it's sincerely just one-shots of big boobs. So I was not going to watch any of that. Given got a OVA. That's cool. Didn't watch it. Maybe need to get around to it. Goku Shufudo Part 2. Haven't seen that yet. Looking forward to getting a chance to see that. I did watch the Goku Holdo. What is it again? Gohokudo? The Ingenuity of Being a House Husband, which is the attached series live action to this. It's where the voice actor of Tatsu is in his house by himself doing housework. And they're like 5 to 8 minute long shorts. And they're on Netflix as well, at least in Canada. And they are very funny. And they're kind of meditative, but they're funny in and of themselves. It's the ingenuity of being a house husband, if you're not, instead of the way of the house husband, or the ingenuity of the house husband. Anyway, Gunbreaker Battle Log, didn't watch that. Didn't watch Hakuoki OVA. Didn't watch Hanmabaki. Now I did watch Heike Monogatari. Now, that is super interesting, and it is a very old-ish feeling style, and I took Japanese literature, and I was aware of the tale of Genji, so Genji Monogatari, and Heike Monogatari you could think as being a companion piece to that, but I'm not sure it was written at the same time as when Genji Monogatari was written. Anyway, but the Heike and the Genji were warring. They were opposed clans, and I think it's an interesting show. I think I don't know how, because this is inspired by, and obviously you're gonna watch it and be like, is this really what's in the tale? I'm like, probably not. There's probably not an orphan named Biwa who shows up, but she becomes our eyes for it, and there's some mystical elements to it as well. And I just really liked it because it was like, you got to work hard, because S Blue 333 says the setting's so samey and it's hard to keep track of what's happening, and especially the people, because there's a lot of characters that have very similar names, which was on purpose. That tends to be how you would name family, right? Is you name them in ways that are very similar to each other. And yeah, so it I guess it's a thing where, and I'm not saying this to be cruel to anybody in chat who watched this and found it hard to follow, but it does reward careful attention. I know that I did at times kind of zone out a bit or fall asleep, and I had to go back and rewatch an episode just to be able to like take in what's happening. But it did grow in a way that I was like, this is very interesting to watch, and it is a tragedy, and it's an interesting tragedy, I think, because it's, if you're familiar with that era of what was going on, because this is not Warring States Japan. This is before that. This is not the Sengoku era, I don't believe. This is before that, and it is a very different kind of feel. So yeah, it's good, I thought, anyway. Stone Ocean, man, we got on that at the last second. I'll go a little bit further before we take a break. Stone Ocean is a lot of fun. We watched all of it in about 3 days. And it's, I didn't expect it to be the way that it is. And it is also like any JoJo. And I think even especially the more recent JoJos, you really have to put your brain in neutral and just be like, take me on a ride. 'Cause you're like, that doesn't make any sense that you're acting this way. It's like, no, it doesn't. But but the story demands it and these personalities demand it. It's like, that is not really what a rational person would do. It's really, I'll give you a hint right off the top, that the very beginning of the very first episode is heavily, it's a very involved conversation about female masturbation. Which I did not fucking expect at all. And I was like, what are we talking about in prison? Okay. And yeah, and I was like, Jesus, like, and laughing. And I'm just like, okay, didn't expect that. And then we roll on, but it's a wild series. And we're only partway through it, because we're 12 episodes in, and it's like, they got to do more, because we have not stopped at an ending point. And it is very interesting. I think, like, the stands and stuff, and it's like, yeah, wow, wild. So if you like JoJo, hey, good, more JoJo. Masara, did not watch that. An unaired episode of Hamefura, or as people have called Bakarina. But yeah, this is X. This is right. Okay, this is because it's a second season. Yeah, I couldn't keep track of those things. Anyway, I haven't watched that. I should get a copy of that so I can watch it. Pokemon Evolutions, I did not watch that. Didn't watch Share-Doll. Didn't watch Sodairo Utility. I didn't even hear about this. Weird. Okay, they're just playing golf. Fun. Didn't even know that existed. I guess I got in a weird time. Sode Sunawachi Sketch. Did not watch this. Seems like something I would enjoy if it's Japanese comedy duo doing stories. I guess I should maybe look into that. Star Wars Visions. Watched the first couple episodes, I think, of this. Neat. But, oh no, I watched the first one. Watched The Duel. I think, yeah. Oh no, I think I watched another one, but then Tatooine Rhapsody I'm currently on and haven't actually watched any of much of it yet. I'll get through this maybe eventually. It is not that compelling to me. I hope it will be compelling the more that I watch it. So, Super Crooks, didn't watch. Toshinki G's Frame, didn't watch. Oh look, here's music. Why are we doing music as a thing now? Okay, whatever. So, anyway, we're going to take that break now. And stick around for 3 minutes. That's what happened in fall for me. Maybe you had a different experience, and we will see you very shortly. We're back, and I'm unmuted. Thank you for the reminder. Like, of course, that's why you wear headphones when you come in this room, so you know if you're muted or not. It is part 2. I took my hairband out. We're doing more Beej's Anime Roundup. We finished the 2021 autumn thing as fast as I could get through it. That's not true at all. I spent a long time talking about stuff that I did not need to spend a long time talking about. And now we're on, excuse me, the winter preview for 2022, because we're now in 2022. Doesn't that feel weird, everybody? Oh, God. All right, let's roll on. Let's see, what does 2022 have for me? It'll all depend on what Sonar can find. Let's start with Akibi-chan no Sailor Fuku. So I didn't expect that. So I've already watched an episode of a few of these things, in fact, and I didn't expect that I would find this that interesting. But I'm gonna watch the first episode because, man, that breakdown is like nothing. And I was like, it's a slice of life, and it seems pretty present day, present time. Maybe doesn't have to be, but kind of felt like it might be. So it's Komichi Akibi's first year of junior high, and she has her heart set on one thing: Robai Private Academies, or Robai Gakuen. Seira Fuku, or Sailor Uniform. Seira Fuku. As the next chapter of her life gets closer, she dreams of all the exciting experiences she'll get to have: school lunches, classes, club activities, and of course, making lots of friends. I want to be clear, none of that is clear at all in the first episode. Just so you know. With her favorite outfit on, Komichi feels ready for anything. Now, I think you should watch this because I think you need to watch the first episode. And then you can make a decision as to whether you want to watch more, because I think that the first episode literally could it just be a pilot. It could have just been a 25-minute short, but a short film. And that impressed me because I'm like, you managed to tell a nice little arc of a story here that has low stakes, but has interesting stakes for, a young woman who's going into junior high. She gets to wear a uniform for the first time. And she lives in a rural area, but she's going to go to a private academy that is in a less rural area. Because you find all these things about her. For one thing, it's like her family lives in a bizarre European cottage-looking place in the middle of rural Japan. She went to a school that had less than 10 kids in the classroom. In fact, maybe she might have been the only one in her grade for a while. She's going to a new school. She's super excited about it because her mom went to that same school. And when her mom went there, she was like, she wore a sailor uniform, and she's always wanted to wear a sailor uniform. And so her mom's going to make her the same uniform. And that got me because I was like, she's going to give her daughter her uniform. No, they're going to make it from scratch. And I'm like, there's so much pivoting on what comes out of that. And I'm just like, wow. Like, now, in the chat, Lacking Sandy says, I watched the first episode of this, and wow, there was a lot of foot stuff. Like, they've shown a lot of shots of feet, and then there's a toenail clipping and foot sniffing scene. And it's like, yeah, you can make that sound as weird as you want. Go ahead. But by and large, I didn't find it weird. I found it was a little bit, like, there's shots in the bath too, right? There's no sexual nudity. Like, I don't think there's anything prurient about the scenes where she's in the bath with her younger sister. So there's nothing odd about that, I don't think. We have a couple moments of, let's draw a leg really nice. Let's draw feet with let's draw toes with like a lot of clarity. And sure, somebody on staff might definitely have a thing about that. And when I watched it too, I was like, boy, you were really focusing on this. This reminds me a lot of like Hibike Euphonium, where we're gonna get into the foot thing. But yeah, it's like the weird activity of one of the girls is clipping her toenails in class before everybody comes in. It's like first thing in the morning, and she thinks she's by herself, and she's clipping her toenails. And then the thing that she does that's weird is, as she's observed doing this, because this is why we're supposed to be seeing this, is that she's being observed by Akebi from out in the hallway. She's like, oh my god, there's somebody here, what am I going to do? And then realizes that this girl's clipping her toenails. And then she comes in, and as she comes in, and she kind of like walks into the classroom a little bit, the girl takes the toenail clipper and just like holds it up to her nose and sniffs it a little bit. And I'm like, relatable. Like, I'm like, yeah, I get that. That's the urge of, I just blew my nose, and maybe I shouldn't, but I'm just going to have a look, like that kind of like, what actually did I generate there? And it's like, yeah, people do weird things like that. And now, and imagine being caught in the act about that, and then having to explain yourself to someone you've never met before, and think about what it's like in a brand new school, brand new anxieties, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's a lot. Like this, there's a lot baked into that one thing. And yeah, the feet are very daintily drawn. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of love and care paid to that, because that was the focus of the activity. So it's not just I drew a round thing and she's got a sock on and she's clipping her toenails through the socks. It happens. Get used to it. Like, no, there's some attention paid. But I don't think that's going to be an ongoing thing. I don't think this is a foot fetishist anime. I just think that it's a really interesting idea of like watch that first episode and be kind of like, yeah, you could just watch this and be like, oh, that was nice, that was interesting, that see what happens as a result. And I'm gonna watch more of it because I think that's interesting. All right, where is it showing? Funimation's got it, Crunchyroll has it, and looks like whatever Vivco is. So there you go, Crunchyroll and Funimation have it. Moving on. Arufueta Shokugo de Sekai Saikyo second season. Didn't watch the first one. Not watching the second one. Barao no Soretsu. Wasn't really interested in watching this. Interesting to say that it's based on an early draft of Shakespeare's Richard III. Okay. And then Aya Kanno, I guess, wrote this. I guess. Anyway, I don't care. Moving on. Q! Based on an idol training mobile game. I think I won't. I like the outfits. They're a little more simplistic than, other ones I've, when it comes to idol stuff. I'm like, they're unique, but they're simple. I'm like, okay, it's kind of cool. But don't care largely. More Precure. Didn't want to watch Precure. Never really watched Precure. Dolls Frontline. In the fallout of nuclear war, the last of humanity strives with the help of lifelike androids known as dolls. Not really interesting. Not really interested. I don't want to say it's not interesting because I don't know if it is or not. I'm not interested. Fantasy Bishoujo Juniku Oji-san to. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I read this. I'm like, comedy, sure. Old man and his handsome best friend get summoned to another world by a naked goddess, and the old man turns into a beautiful girl, and then he goes on a journey with his handsome best friend to defeat the Demon King. So I'm guessing that's the old man there, and an old man that became a beautiful girl and a handsome old man. And I'm like, I don't know. The idea of having your gender changed against your will is definitely a thing where I'm like, that always bugs me. So I don't know if that's my thing. But then it's like, let the madness-filled another world journey rom-com begin. And I'm like, well then wait, you know what? Forget it. Not gonna watch it. Moving on. So, though apparently people in the chat saying, oh, might be okay. But anyway, Futsal Boys, bang, 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 bang. I'm not really interested in sports anime generally. And I only really like sports anime, I guess, when it's something completely unusual. Like a kind of the unexpected whatever. So I'm like, I don't feel like this is going to be the unexpected whatever. It might be a really good show. So, but it's not going to be for me. Sarubo. Anyway, Genjitsu Shugi Yusha no O Kokusai Kenki Part 2. Didn't watch the first one. I don't think, did I watch this? Did I do this? What did I watch this as? Wait, this is the Genius. Yeah, this sounds familiar. Yeah, okay, cool. There's a Part 2. I guess I'll be watching that. Because I liked this one. This is the one where his only superpower is he can do administrative work really fast. He can clone his brain to hands and quills and stuff. And yeah, I'm like, all right. So yeah, I am interested to see what happens here, how this plays out, because I ended up enjoying the first part of this. Genso Sangokushi Tengen. When does this come out anyway? It's already been airing. Excellent. Genso Sangokushi Tengen Rei Shinki. 3 kingdoms ravaged by demons and monsters. 4 heroes little in common. Unite to fight the realm's most vicious enemies. Insidious conspiracy. Battle mysterious organization. Joys and sorrows. Anyway. Hakozume. So I've seen ads for this, and I was kind of like, oh, what's this going to be like? But I also watched ads for this about the time when, like, the people were getting really into the thing about, hey, do you enjoy watching propaganda? And I was kind of like, yeah, I do. And actually, I feel really weird about that now that it's really been pointed out to me. And I'm like, yeah, I do feel weird about that. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should. Maybe I can do whatever. I don't know. Ultimately, I was like, I don't think I'm gonna watch it. Don't know if it's any good or not. Comedy drama, slice of life. If there's something about it that's kind of like, maybe there's something to it. I mean, the idea of this officer's like, I'm sick of doing the thing, but then this beautiful ace detective shows up in her police box, and it's like, ah, yes. And I'm like, is this supposed to be, this is police girls doing a police thing? And I'm like, sure. Is it supposed to be a Yuri thing? Maybe it's not. And I'm just like, I don't know if I want to deal with it. Just don't. I guess I felt a bit weird about it. I was like, I don't know, maybe whatever. Okay, Kuroitsu, Kaijin, Kaihatsubu no Kuroitsu-san. Not going to watch that. Yeah. Yeah? Wait, is this something else I've heard of? Oh, this is interesting. Maybe I should watch this. Kuroitsu is an assistant researcher in the Superhuman Research and Development Department of Agastya, a villainous secret organization that battles with heroes who try to save the world. Kuroitsu lives a busy life in Agastya, caught between the absurd requests of her bosses, making presentations, implementing new features into superhumans, and getting results within the allotted time budget, and spec requests, all without vacation. Okay, so it's a black company. So, yeah, I'm maybe I'll give it a 3-episode trial and just see how it is. If it's just about, hey, your bosses are idiots, and doing. I mean, I liked Astro Fighter Sunred. God, I liked Astro Fighter Sunred. Oh, and I liked the kind of more, not humanized really, but the more empathetic, evil organization that Sunred has to fight against. And yeah, so maybe I'll watch a bit of this. We'll see. Kaijin Kaihatsubu no Kuruitsu-san. All right. Yeah. I mean, I like Karakai Jozu no Takagi-san. This is the 3rd season. I am way ahead of this in the manga, obviously. I would love for them to do more time skip episodes where they do Karakai Jozu no Moto Takagi-san, where these two have grown up and have a kid. So spoilers for the future for these two. And the first episode of season 3 is kind of a mind trip. It's wild. It's not. I didn't expect what went on in it actually, but it was fun. So yeah, I'm watching more of that. Kenja no Deshi wo Nanoru Kenja. Kagami Sakamoto plays the great mage Denbulf in his favorite Mo. He falls asleep after a night of testing new character appearances. Instead of waking up to a suspended game, he's inside of Arch Earth Online as a girl. Now named Mira, he must convince the game's people that Mira is a pupil of Denbulf, who vanished without a trace 30 years ago, and figure out how he got here. I don't know. Not really that. Maybe it's fun or funny or whatever. I don't know. Just getting shot into the game and moving on. Kimetsu no Yaiba, right. This either came out already. This is the buff one that I saw earlier. Oh, I see. It's yes, more sequel stuff. Didn't watch the original. Moving on. Koroshi Ai. 2 assassins face off. The cool bounty hunter Chateau and the mysterious and powerful Ryang Ha. Chateau and Ryang Ha become enemies after the fight. At least they should have, but for some reason Ryang Ha takes a liking to Chateau and begins following her around. Little by little, Chateau develops a cooperative partnership with Ryang Ha, who gets caught up in struggle against the organizations hunting him down. That's right, kids. Never let it be said that if you're trying to kill each other, that your dogged persistence won't win the heart of a woman. There's schmutz on my screen. It is gone now. So, yeah. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to watch this. And we'll move on. Leedale. Yeah, let's just say that. Leedale no Daichi Nite. Nite, not Nite. Nite. After being put on life support after a tragic accident, Keina Kagami's only freedom comes from the Vermo Urpuga Leedale. One day, her life support system shuts off, and Keina passes away. Fucking spoilers again, my god. When she wakes up, she died. She died. She can't wake up. She died. She finds herself in Leedale 200 years in the future as the high elf Keina with lost skills. Oh, so hang on. What if we just start reading from here? As the high elf Kano with lost skills but incredible stats, she must forge relationships with the residents of this new world. All that stuff that happened before that shit don't matter, perhaps? I don't, maybe, what, huh? Also includes, though, the children characters she designed herself, so that she gave kids that she gave birth to. Okay, leisurely adventure tales about to begin, featuring a girl transported to a game world, the smiles and tears she shares. Sure, whatever. I I don't think I'm gonna care. I think what happened is when I saw this part, I was like, right, gotta die so you can be born in the video game. I'm like, I don't know. I just don't care. Ninjala got an anime. I kind of don't care about that either, so I didn't really, I'm not paying attention to this, and I don't know if I will. But if you've been playing Ninjala, and hey, there you go. So anyway, Orient. I think I already knew I wasn't going to watch this. Let's see. At age 10, best friends Musashi and Kojiro, sad and excited silences Kojiro's father, spun tales of evil demons who preyed upon the innocent and the warriors who defeated them. Practicing swordplay, the two swore an oath to become the strongest in the world, but as they grow up, Kojiro turns cynical, and Musashi comes to the realization that he can't overturn 150 years of demon rule on his own. He's being called a prodigy with a pickaxe. Cool. And he's almost ready to settle into a life of labor, yet he can't shake the feeling that he still has responsibility to act, and soon the injustices of his world will force his hand. I wouldn't look at this and immediately think comedy, but I can see what appears to be a lady character with ample cleavage, so maybe that's where we'll get the comedy, is her boobs falling out. I guess maybe that's what happens. I don't know. I don't know if this is going to be any good or not. I'm probably not going to watch it. Princess Connect, Season 2. Didn't watch Redive. Moving on. Ryman's Club. The story centers on Mikoto Shiratori, a childhood prodigy at badminton. Because when I see this, I think badminton, but okay, moving on. Never recovered from major loss during a high school competition. Now he works for the sales department of Sunlight Beverage Company. Now, if you put a period there, I would probably get into this. I'd be like, oh, yes, okay, cool. Yes, he played badminton. He never recovered from a major badminton loss. And now he works in the sales department of a beverage company. And what's his life become? Because he couldn't win at badminton, right? And I'm like, God, that would be wild. Weird thing. But no, he does play badminton on the side, and you can see that they're already taking off their clothing to play badminton, because in Japan you play nude men's badminton. Anyway, I don't think I'm going to watch this. Is there? Oh yeah, there's a shuttlecock down there. Look at that. Just barely see that through the title. Right. Sabiito no Armor Reimei. An adaptation of Rusted Armor is a multimedia project that first started as a stage play, and a manga adaptation. Okay. Hey, look, they managed to work in the Sengoku area warlord Oda Nobunaga, grandest hero of all time. Maybe he'll have a mustache, maybe he won't. Maybe he'll be a girl in this one, maybe he won't. Maybe he'll be a 600-foot lizard. Who gives a fuck? Sabikui Bisco. What? Great name. Japan's post-apocalyptic wasteland, replete with dust, can only be saved by one thing: fungus. Bisco Akaboshi, a wanted criminal and skilled archer, searches for a legendary mushroom known as Sabikui, said to devour any and all rust. Joining him on this epic saga to save the country is a giant crab and a young doctor. Can this unlikely trio to find the fabled fungi, and save the land? I can never tell anymore if we're supposed to be able to say fungi or fungi or whatever. I'm sure there's multiple pronunciations. You can do whatever you like at this point. But yeah, finding a giant crab and a young doctor. And I don't care about this, but cool. Grow your fungus, and it can devour any and all rust. I guess no one remembers like a redox reaction, or can make the stuff you can make to get rust off of. Like hundreds of year hours of YouTube videos showing rust removal have just been forgotten. So cool. I'm not gonna watch it, but neat premise. Yeah, go wild. Sayuki Reload. I've never really been interested in Sayuki, so not gonna watch that. Sasaki no Miyano. Miyano spends his days reading boys love manga and worrying about the soft features of his face and the soft focus of the surrounding environment. His world of fiction becomes reality when a chance encounter leads him to high school senior Sasaki in the middle of a fight. Now Sasaki wants to spend every opportunity he can to get to know Miyano. And what was once admiration quickly turns to affection. Oh, there you go. Slice of life comedy romance. two young men who I'm assuming fall in love with each other. I'm not gonna watch that. It's, but I'm sure you will probably enjoy it. I liked. I mean, I liked. I didn't. Yaoi stories are not like, and even Shonen Ai stories are not my jam, so I don't watch them. I don't read them. Given was really good. Given was really good. Um, but yeah, this is. I think that's interesting because I don't know if boys love gets a lot of anime to begin with. Girls love is usually a lot easier to sell, and I figure that um, I think it's great then that if or that boys love material might be making more of a play to Japanese television, whether it's anime or even anything else. So there you go. All right. Shikakumon no Saikyo Kenja. His strength, limited by the magical crest with which he was born, Matthias, the world's most powerful sage, decides reincarnation is necessary to become the strongest of all. I think I tried reading the manga for this. I think there's a manga based on this, and he comes back, and he's thrilled to discover he's been born on the optimal crest for magical combat his first try, because he's still got his brain inside his baby body. What was it again? Give yourself a the give yourself the flaw of colic so you can put extra points into locomotion, so your legs get 50 feet long and you can climb out of your crib, and then you can frame skip to the store because you still have the buff to gain extra vitamins and minerals from drinking milk. So you drink all the milk in the store, and now you can get a job and earn money. If no one has ever seen that comic, it's a great little speedrunning life comic. It's so, I love it so much, which is why I quoted the whole damn thing. Anyway, I don't think I'm gonna watch this, so I hope you might. Definitely seems like we're supposed to be looking at a boy and three girls, and it is romance, and I don't know who he's supposed to end up with, or if he ends up with anybody. He certainly looks cool, though. Look at that thing on his hand. Yes, he's man. He's the coolest boy in town, don't you know? The redhead is a dragon. Kel fucking surprise, Kumatsu. Thank you so much. Shingeki no Kyojin, the final season, part 2. If they end this the way that they ended the manga, that will just make everyone piss and moan and cry and belch and vomit, great, go nuts. Hurt everyone in the process. Love it so much. I don't watch the show and could give a shit about it one way or the other. Shumatsu no Harem. No, I won't. The time is near future. Tokyo, Japan in 2040. Oh, Bubblegum Crisis 2040. Perfect. Reito, a young man suffering from an intractable disease, vows to reunite with his childhood friend Edisa and decides to cold sleep to cure her illness when he wakes. So he goes to sleep so that when he wakes up, that he'll be smart enough to cure her illness? What? I still don't think I've read this properly. He wakes up 5 years later. The world's undergoing a major transformation. It's now become the superdimensional fortress Earth. The male killer virus kills 99.999% of all men on the planet, except no substitutes. The ground was a super harem with 5 billion women for every 5 men. You could say with 1 billion women for every 1 man, but I guess they need to let us know exactly what it splits into. Yes, as Brownie Points put it, it's Y the Last Man if it was hot garbage. Maybe it is. I don't know. There was an episode that got aired apparently in October because it was delayed. Now it got pushed back to winter. So this is your next opportunity, of course, to watch whatever this is. I thought somebody had their abs on display. I don't see it. I see so much boobage. I mean, it literally has the ecchi tag, and there's a lot of stuff that doesn't make it past that. Like a lot of stuff we're seeing where it's like, man, there's boobs on display, but no ecchi tag, and then here we go. It's right there. So enjoy your smut. I know I do. Slow loop. I had to sneeze. Slow loop, nervous to meet her new stepdad. Hiyori heads to a place she always feels at home, the ocean. Just when a curious girl named Koharu shows up, Hiyori decides to teach her how to fish. It's not how that happens in the first episode. When a curious girl, Hiyori is out fishing by the ocean because she doesn't feel good about anything that's happening in her life, it seems. She's going to start high school soon. Her dad died 3 years ago, and she's just kind of really not processing this stuff. But she likes to fly fish because her dad taught her how to fly fish and taught her how to do other things. But, fly fishing was one of the things. And so she feels pretty calm fly fishing. And while she's there, a girl named Koharu shows up, strips out of her clothing, revealing her skumizu. God, what's the right school swimsuit? Got there, and then tries to dive into the ocean in March. Koharu grabs her and casts her line at her actually, and realizes she fucked up because you're not supposed to do that, and B, that will have no effect on stopping somebody from jumping into the ocean because that line is long, and tackles her. And is like, yo, you shouldn't go in the ocean in March. That's silly. And she's like, oh, you're right. Frame skip to fully dressed, sitting on the side of the thing. What are you doing? I'm fishing. That's so cool. Are you a fisherman? No, I'm not. Huh. Interesting. I've seen people. I've never seen the ocean before. This is indeed the ocean. I'm from a prefecture where we don't have water, apparently. Oh, cool. Well, this is all the ocean. I've never seen anyone fish. Can you show me how to fish? I was going to go home, but... yeah? Cool. Okay. Here, and I'll tell you what, you can operate the net. What do I do with this? Well, when the fish shows up, you're going to have to put it in the net. It seems wild, but I'll give it a fucking shot. Okay. Wham. Okay. Let's see what we're going to catch. Hey, are those fish in the cooler? Yeah, those are rockfish. Oh, that's real neat. Interesting. Okay. Oh, we've caught something. I'm bringing it in. Get the net ready. Okay, here we go. Got the fish. I'm giving you a bunch of spoilers for the first episode here, everybody, but she caught the fish. Fish goes in cooler. Wow, that's real cool. It's like, you gonna eat that? Yeah, I'm gonna take it home and eat that. It's like, oh, that's cool. I'd love to be able to cook fish for like whatever. It's like, okay, that's kind of cool. Hey, do you want to just eat this fish now? Sure, why not? I forget why we were gonna do that. I forget why they were gonna do that. They go and they sit down at a nice little gazebo next to the ocean, and she pulls out a big knife and just goes to town, cuts the fish up, and Hiyori's like, and Koharu's like, I'm cutting up fish. Take the fin off and whatever, and we chop the head out and yank out the guts. You don't get to see any of that. This is great. I'm very interested. I'm not grossed out at all. I'm like, wow, that's a fucking shock. Usually that doesn't happen that way. And then I'm gonna chop it all up, and then boom, here's a beautiful plate of sushi because I have a plate with me. Also, I have wasabi and I have soy sauce with me, so here you go. It's like, let's eat this. Man, this is good. This is really good. It's like, yeah, it's fresh out of the ocean, so it's pretty good. It's like, yeah, this is awesome. Yeah, cool. Well, I'm gonna pack up. I'd love to cook for you sometime. Maybe I'll bring my cooking stuff here to the ocean and I will cook. And it's like, yeah, come by sometime. Maybe I guess I'll cook for you. I'll fish for you. It's like, sure, awesome. Hey, so yeah, I gotta get home. We haven't learned each other's names yet. I gotta get home because like I said, I'm moving here, and my dad is here, and we have to go meet my new mom and her daughter. Huh? That's interesting. I was supposed to go home, and I'm not looking forward to it because I have to go with my mom to meet my new dad and his daughter. No, couldn't be. And you know, fellow readers, I would have lost my shit if it wasn't, if it turned out it was not, but it is. And now they are sisters. And Hiyori moves into Koharu, the orange-haired one here, moves into Hiyori's dad's office. They clean it out and turn it into her bedroom. And Koharu doesn't seem entirely cool with it, but she understands that she has to be cool with it. And it's like, we're gonna do that. And so yeah, they move in, and then we get, but that's the first half of the show. Second half of the show, we get to see that, oh yeah, well, Hiyori knows how to cook, and shows what happens if she cooks, and then they both go to school. And you know what it is? It's super cute and it's very sweet. I'm watching the whole thing. I have to, because it's like, it's going to be fishing life is what it's going to be. We're going to go, it's going to be kind of like Tales After School at the Breakwater. I'm sure a lot of that kind of like, we're going to go fishing and I'm going to catch some stuff and you're going to cook some stuff and it's going to be fine. We're going to kind of get to know each other as a family. It'll be some kind of that, tension on top of that and be like, it'll be fine. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see how it shakes out. I've watched the first episode, as you can clearly tell. I think give it a shot if you like the kind of slower slice of life. Doesn't seem to be too much other tension other than that. I mean, I guess there's people here in the background. Who knows what their deal is? Who gives a shit? I'm just interested in see what goes on with like catching stuff. So, moving on. Sono Bisca wa koi o suru. This is being localized as My Dress Up Darling. I know that because I'm reading it and also watching it. I'll describe it, or rather, I'll read the synopsis, and then I'll describe it to you. You have not seen the first episode yet, actually, sorry, of Slow Loop. You've only seen half. You'll have to watch the next half to see more things that happen. Anyway, so in this show, High School Wakana Gojo, that's him right there in the Jinbei, cares about one thing, only about one thing, making Hina dolls. He likes to talk to Hina dolls. He likes to dress them up. Because why? Because his grandfather runs a Hina doll manufacturing business, and when he was in elementary school, he just found them incredibly like bewitching, and he thinks they're very beautiful and likes them a whole bunch, to a point where it seems creepy. Don't let it seem creepy to you when you watch. Fucking gloss over it. That's all I ask is you do that as a favor to me. Gloss over that because it's only meant to be seen that way as but anyway. Anyway, so he makes the clothing for that. So let's move on. With nobody to share his obsession about Hina dolls, he has trouble finding friends or even holding conversations. You're going to see that in the first episode, definitely. But after the school's most popular girl, Marin Kitagawa, has the most remarkable fucking dynamic entry I've seen of anybody. She makes an entrance in this anime like you won't believe. She reveals a secret of her own. He discovers a new purpose for his sewing skills. Together, they'll make her cosplay dreams come true. That's the secret. She wants to cosplay. She doesn't know how to cosplay, but she wants to cosplay because she's really into this one character. What's great about this show is that Marin she definitely has this thing of like, I like this girl character from this show that I'm watching. She's super cute and she's like, I love her personality and whatever. And all of her very gyaru friends are all like, man, Marin, we can't even understand you when you're talking about this. And she's also like, you should never make fun of people when they have something that they like. And I mean, if I'm gonna hang a shingle on the wall that says something, it's gonna be that quote on this show. Like, it's like, I can't. I should never goof on people if they like a thing, and good for them for liking a thing. So, and I try to be as supportive as I can, as often as I can, and I will stumble from time to time. But she has the right idea here, and I think we could all live by that too, because it's largely not hurting anybody. And so when they meet and the secret is revealed, she's like, oh, you know how to sew? You can use a sewing machine? And she strips off her skirt like immediately. This is like in a sewing room. There are only the two of them in there. She takes her skirt down and reaches into her bag, and she's like, wait, turn around. And he's like, yeah. And he turns around because he has no idea how to act around anybody, let alone girls. And I'm sympathize. And she and you hear rustling and whatever. And you get to see her panties at one point. You get to see the back of her bra at one point. And anyway, she throws this thing on, and she's standing there in it. And it's like, look. And he's like, what is that? And she's like, it's this. And she shows on the phone the character that she loves. She's like, I'm making an outfit because I want to cosplay as her. And he's like, no, this is all wrinkled. Like, why is this wrinkled? And this outfit, you can't wear that. This doesn't have any lining. It needs lining to have structure. Oh my God, there's no seam. You left the seam allowance out. Where's the bobbin thread? Did you have a bobbin thread put in? And it's a sexy cosplay romance anime, and it's so good. And it's crazy to me because I know the ecchi tag is in here. Well, the manga is very much like that. If you read like the first 15, 20, 30 chapters, and it's like 70 chapters, I think so far, but you read the first little bit of it, yeah, it's, I don't think we ever see nipples, right? But lots of like 17-year-old girl in her underwear, lots of that. Lots of like outfits that are very saucy, very, very revealing. Holy shit. The more recent chapters, like the last couple dozen, have been focused on a story where the cultural festival at the school is having a crossplay contest where the boys are going to dress up as girls and girls are dressed up as boys, kind of thing, and you have to come on stage and you have to perform a thing or whatever, and their class really wants to win, and she's like, I want to dress up as this girl who's playing a guy in this. Her name is Reisama. She's playing a host, so she has to dress up. She has to make herself very androgynous. She dresses up as a host, and I think it's not an anime. I think it's a drama, in the context of whatever. And we spend a lot of time going over what does it take to turn a girl with boom, bam, boom. How do you turn that into straight up and down? How do you turn that into like all of these in like, how do you design an outfit to like cover that up and disguise all that and make yourself look like give yourself the male figure, right? And it's really interesting to see that, and it's also the romance thing, and you can tell that he's really sweet on her, and you can tell that she's becoming really sweet on him in the manga. And at the same time, it's like, I'm going to buy myself an SLR so I can take photos. And you're going to come with me so we can learn how to take photos. You got to come with me and take photos of me, my incredibly sexy outfit, because I want to get hot shots of that. Oh my God, we got to go meet this cosplayer because he's a great cosplayer or a great crossplayer. And they show up and they meet this beautiful girl, this like really cute girl. And it's this dude who's from college and has like no stubble whatsoever and is like really made up and looks like a really beautiful girl, very cute. And goes and like gets out of his costume and comes back to being like, and I'm a guy, whatever. He has the look and whatever else. And it's like, I didn't expect that at all. None of those things I expected from the manga. I really have fun reading this manga, not just because of all the like, look at all the, sexy whatever, but it's cute and it's fun and it means so well. And it's really trying to do the best that it can. I'm like, I like this. So I've really enjoyed it. And if watch the first episode, see if it's your kind of thing. Maybe you will enjoy it too. I'm hoping it's gonna stand up. I'm hoping that despite the ecchi tag, we're not gonna see a lot of like overt, but probably by the third or fourth episode, we're gonna see more. Because I was like, the first episode is usually where you drop a lot of that because you're like, I have to attract all the pervs. And it's like, yes, I'm here, attract me. And it's like, this did not do that. It didn't drop all the pervy stuff. I'm like, okay, still, let's see how this goes. So. All right, moving on. We got time. God, we're already 40 minutes into that. So, it's 2 hours. God, okay. No, we're going to take another break now. I believe that will make up the thing. So, I will be back in a minute. Let us go to commercial. See you in a few minutes. A very fast break, hopefully. And we're back again. More of the bonus stream. We're on Beej's Anime Roundup, where he finishes his winter preview, hopefully before midnight my time. Let's see. Oh yeah, by the way, quick break. Out of the Tokyo treat, I got the Meri Kurisumasu Umaibo, the tiny one that's there. And I know why it's tiny is because as a dagashi, they coated it in chocolate or some sort of chocolate equivalent. I'm sure. That smells like chocolate, all right. It smells like chocolate. So an umaibo that I have no idea what it tastes like on the inside, but it is chocolate coated. If you're wondering what the interior is, it is extruded grain puff. There's a hole in the middle. Ooh, you can see through it, maybe. Yes, you can see my... Ooh. There. I am the new James Bond. Anyway, it's probably puffed rice. But wouldn't surprise me if it's puffed wheat. It's tasty. Not salty at all, this one. So if you're looking to get into Umaibo, like Full of Lies and Bees is, you could start with these. Anyway, whatever. It tastes, God, it tastes like, it either tastes like puffed wheat. God, it really reminds me of puffed wheat squares. Oh, God. Coming back, coming back, coming back. We're still on my preview for winter where I'm nattering on about stuff. Tensai Oji no Akaji Kokka Saisei Jutsu. Dogen would be so mad at my pronunciation, I'm sure. Once upon a time in a faraway land there lived a prince, a genius prince. The genius prince fought alongside his people and led them to a great many triumphs. However, truth be told, he just wants to let everything go and live in tranquility. I feel ya, my dude. As you can see on Funimation, it'll be airing soon. Now the thing is, I would easily confuse this with that other Prince thing. I'd have no idea if it's the same thing. It's same, different, whatever. I don't know if I've read a manga adaptation of this or not. The fact, it's weird, right? Because I'm like, boy, you look familiar, and I don't know why. I don't get why. I don't understand, but whatever. You know what? I'm probably going to watch this. Because I think I didn't have it down to watch it, but I think I will probably just give it a go, and we'll just see what happens. Who cares, right? It's bandwidth. We all have bandwidth, right? I keep looking at chat, and I should be looking at chat. So I'll probably watch this. It's probably fairly inoffensive. I mean, despite the fact we have the Zeta Ryoiki here with the garter belts, I'm just kind of like, yeah, don't have that ecchi tag though, so whatever happens, happens. I'm just gonna do this, and if you happen to get your boobs out, that's your own fault. God. Hey, I'm back, and none of that ever happened. Tokyo, Niju Yonku. Enter the 24th ward, a man-made island inside Tokyo Bay. 3 of its inhabitants, Shuta, Ran, and Koki, have been best friends since childhood, but after a deadly incident, everything changed. The Fire Nation attacked. A year later, reunited for the first time, they receive a mysterious phone call. On the other line is a familiar voice from a friend who's supposed to be dead. Together, they'll have to save their home. No. Sorry. None of that really got me. We don't even know what kind of show it is. But I don't think that's going to get me. So, yeah. Tribe 9 in Neo-Tokyo is about to explode. Disillusioned youth form tribes that battle each other in an intense game called Extreme Baseball. One night, 2 kids, Haru Shirogane and Taiga, meet the strongest XB player, Shun Kamiya. Haru and Taiga join Shun's group, the Minato tribe, to play this cutthroat game against a mysterious man who has begun taking control of all the tribes. Can they defeat him before it's too late? Is this supposed to be some sort of like analog for what's happening in baseball? Maybe right now, maybe somebody is like trying to amalgamate buy a bunch of teams, and no matter what, I don't know. If it is very Blaseball, so everyone keeps dropping that idea as Extreme Baseball is Blaseball, yes. But Juliamon does ask the question. I have to ask the obvious: is this Blaseball enough for a Blaseball fan? It's like, well, who knows? I mean, episode 1's coming out in 6 hours. Source is other. So if this isn't like, this must be an original, but maybe it's not. But it's not a video game. It's not a mobile game. It's not a light novel. It's not a manga, because any of those things would have been said. So, yeah, if it's a multimedia franchise, as Lysander Salamander points out, because we'll get a video game adaptation, then maybe that will be something different. Not sure where else it's coming from. So, moving on. I'm not going to watch it. Vanitas no Carte Part 2. Didn't watch the first one. Moving on. It's about vampires. Generally don't watch vampire stuff unless it's cute. And TV shorts. Let's ignore what happened there. Atasha Kawajiri Kodama Dayo. Dangerous Life Hacker no Taradeta Seikatsu. Hey, it depicts the lazy and healthy daily life of Kawajiri, who loves alcohol and anything greasy, salty, or sweet. Okay. There was a time when I probably would have watched this. I don't care. So there are some people in chat. I will watch this. It's like, all right, cool. Go on. Baby Hammy Tang. Don't care about that. I mean, the anime presents topics from the list of the 17 sustainable development goals, such as global warming, food waste, and gender equality in easy to understand manner. What is happening? Okay. I had no idea where this is going to be played. It's a short. If I see it come up somewhere, maybe I will get it up for people to watch. I don't know what the hell's going on. This could be really interesting. It could also be really poorly handled. So we'll see. I have to think if you're devoting time though to make a short that has to talk about this stuff, that whoever's involved as your consultant is going to try to get it right. But I just would love to have it as something to have on at the moon base. To just be playing in the background, people walking and be like, what? Because I would see Adam walk in, and he'd just be like on his phone, he'd just be walking in and just kind of walk past me like, you can't see the head, but he would be like, he would make that face. I love that face. Anyway, moving on. Garugaku 2, Lucky Stars. Not a continuation of the Lucky Star anime. Oh, it's a sequel to something else I didn't watch. Irodori Midori. I don't know. I don't think that's gonna be as fun as K-On! They have a I was gonna say a banana guitar. Look, they have a banana guitar with banana ears. Moving on. Ohiru no Shocker-san. Oh, anime centering the everyday stories of the lackeys of Shocker, the villain organization in the original Kamen Rider series. Because I was going to be like, man, they really do have an anime for everything. On Air Dekinai. This looked interesting. I don't know if it's... But the story takes place in 2014 and follows Mafuneko, a new hire at the Tokyo Hachiko television company. The anime follows the hard struggles behind the scenes at making television content. And you know what they say? When you don't know how to win an Oscar, make a movie about the people who vote for Oscars. If you want to win a newspaper reporting prize, make a story about people who report the news. There's like a whole thing about what's the shitty thing? It's if you make a story about actors, and then actors will vote for your shit. And it's like, sure, you want to make anime about how hard it is to make television and get it greenlit, then you will definitely get that shit greenlit, because it's like, yeah, it is hard doing my job. Yeah, I want people to understand how it is. I might watch this if I find an easy place to find it, but I probably won't, so we'll move on. Teiko Penguin centers on a penguin who works in an abusive company and gripes about the difficulties of workplace life. The title is a play on the Kote penguin, the name for the Japanese name for the emperor penguin. I don't think I want to. I don't work in an abusive company anymore, so I don't think I ever worked in an abusive company. I think I've had a pretty good life, me. So, yeah. Legally distinct to Gretsuko? Perhaps. Yamishibai 10. If you like Yamishibai, hey, look at that. More. Nice. Yashihime's on the Leftovers list. Lupin the Third Part 6 on the Leftovers list as well. I'm watching that. We know that. Wasama Ranking, we're getting more of that, obviously. Platinum End, I did not watch that, so... whatever. Bang Dream, Poppin' Dream. There you go. They performed the Budokan Live, and they need to do more things, I guess. They're going overseas. So I know somebody here would be happy to have Bang Dream performing overseas. Let's see here. Blue Thermal. This sounds like fun. It's about... Forget all this horse shit. She wants to date somebody, and she joins her university's glider club. Done. I don't care. It's going to be about gliders. I'll probably watch it. It's a film. I'll watch it. Demo Sakura no Oto. Wait, is this based on the demo that they've been playing in Rhythm Cafe? If it is, then I guess I have to pick this up for Heather to watch at some point, perhaps? Or maybe she won't care. I don't know. Whatever. Ensemble Stars, Road to Show! Ensemble Stars, Road to Show! David Production. When they're not making... you know how it is when you're not making JoJo, you got to make something to pay the bills. And in this case, this is a sequel to something that is probably a video game. Or who knows? I don't care. But moving on. Ah, yeah, Fruits Basket Prelude. Okay, so this is about. It's a compilation film about Kyoko to Katsuya no Monogatari, or Kyoko and Katsuya's story. It's Toru's parents, right? Hey, remember, they're dead. Let's make a movie about them. I don't know. I don't know if I care to watch it or not. That just seems like it's going to continue to make me feel sad. So, yeah. But, there you go. So, okay. So, yeah. Ginga Eiyu Densetsu, Legend of the Galactic Heroes. Di Nue Teisa Gekitotsu Ichi. So, this is a sequel to Di Nue Teisa second, the new thesis second. I have no idea how good this turned out. I guess good on Production IG for continuing to make Legend of Galactic Heroes. More Logue is always more Logue, so that's cool. Goodbye Donglies. Donglies? Like danglies? Like little donglies? Donglies nuts. That's right, brownie points. Yeah, centers on the two boys named Roma and Toto. They meet when Roma moves to Tokyo to the countryside. He can't get accustomed to that. He meets Toto. They become a duo and they give themselves a weird name because, well, that'll all be explained. Don't worry about that. Anyway, he's supposed to move out to Tokyo for school, and on the summer of the first year of high school, they meet Drop, and added him to Donglies. So now there's 3 of them in the Donglies. And they invite them to view the world from above. So they get some, why? They get some fucking drones. That's what this is going to be about, I'm sure, is having drones. They get involved in a forest fire. It gets blamed on them. Well, wait a second. If they were involved in a forest fire, were they the ones that set it? That's a mystery. They go off in search of a missing drone. There's the drone part. That is evidence of their innocence. The small incident becomes an important life change journey that culminates in Iceland. What the fuck does that mean? I mean, have there anybody here ever been on an important life-changing journey that culminates in Iceland? But I don't know. Whatever. I don't know if I'll watch it. Definitely the title has energy like "Don't Leave Me Alone, Nostradamus" or whatever. But yeah, it's not the actual title. Fuck you, Nostradamus. It's I can never remember what the name of the Lupin the Third movie that has Nostradamus in the title, but it's about "Eat my shit, Nostradamus" or something. I can never remember what it is, but we were watching "Don't Leave Me Alone, Daisy" at one point, and so now it's just "Don't Leave Me Alone, Nostradamus" has now been, those two things have been shoved into my head, and I'm like, okay, here we go, whatever. Let's see, Shika no O Yuna to Yakusoku no Tabi. It won the 4th Japan Medical Novel Award. I feel it's because Shika no O, something no king, probably? Anyway. Van is the head of a group of soldiers who are expected to die fighting for their lands against a large empire looking to incorporate their home into its kingdom. Instead of dying, however, Van is taken as a slave and thrown into a salt mine. One night, a pack of strange dogs attacks a salt mine. A mysterious illness breaks out. During the attack, Van takes the opportunity to escape, and he meets a young girl. Elsewhere, rapid turn. Rumors spreading that only immigrants are coming down with this mysterious illness. The medical scientist Hossal risks his life to search for a cure. Doctors also study a father and child who seem to have survived the illness. The story tells the interconnecting stories and bonds of those who fight against their cruel fate. Novels won the Japan Book Sales Award and won the 4th Japan Medical Novel Award in 2015. Note, this film received an early premiere of the Annecy International Film Festival. I'm not going to watch it. Uchu Senken Yamato 2205. There you go. Second film in that duology that I already mentioned that I didn't watch. Moving on. Boku no Hero Academia. I don't watch My Hero Academia. So, boom, there you go. The movie World Heroes Mission Blu-ray DVD release. Tabidachi. Go ahead. Love it. Chikyu Guy Shonen Shoujo. All right. This anime is set in 2045 where the internet and AI are commonplace, even in space, and centers on a group of children stranded in space after a large-scale accident occurs in the space station. Holy shit. Well, face your fears, everybody. By using narrowband, social networking, and a drone they can manipulate through smartphones and low-intelligence AI, they overcome many crises. It's going to be on Netflix, so yeah, I'll probably watch it. Did that mute even work? I smashed the button, mute button, mute button, 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 button. Did work? Great. I hope everybody enjoyed that. It showed red, so I assumed it had. I'll probably watch this, yeah. On Netflix, sure, why not? AN no 831, the eternal 831. In the present day, the world is in turmoil because due to an unprecedented disaster. A young man living in Tokyo, Suzushiro. Oh, right. No, this will be fun. In the present day, the world is in turmoil due to an unprecedented disaster. A young man living in Tokyo, Suzushiro, has a secret he cannot tell anyone. That secret is that he can stop the time around him, despite his thoughts. One day, he meets a girl named Nazuna who has the same power. When he learns that she is being used in a crime, he impulsively reaches out to help her. Yeah, I hate that voice. I wish people would stop doing that shit on YouTube. Yeah, stuff, flag time, whatever. I don't know. Kaiju Decode. Now, if this was Kaiju whatever caramelizer, I'd be all for it. But it's not. Something else. Toy animation, sure. But yeah, God, I want Kaiju Otome caramelized now. Oh, yeah. I think that got canceled, didn't it? That manga got canceled. It's Kaiju Otome Caramelize is about a girl who is developing kaiju qualities and she's trying to hide them all. And she changes into a kaiju kind of like in fits and starts, but it happens when she sees the boy she's in love with and then is flooded with love emotion and then turns into a giant kaiju with heart-shaped pupils. And it's the cutest damn thing, and it's fun too, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. Kobayashi Sanchi no Maid Dragon S Nippon no Omotenashi Attendwa Dragon Des. So a new episode of something that got included with the Blu-ray. I look forward to getting a chance to watch that. I like Maid Dragon. I know that it feels definitely like Kyosho Shinsha, the mangaka, had the same thing happen that happened to the dude who made Power Girl, where it was like everybody, people were like, boy, those boobs seem big, and it's like, really? How about now? Well, those boobs seem bigger, don't they? Well, really? How about now? It's like, well, these boobs just keep getting even bigger. We shouldn't say anything though, right? No, don't say anything. Now they're this big. It's like, I feel like that was just kind of his working ethos for a while. It's like, I'm just going to draw bigger and bigger boobs until somebody says stop. Nobody said stop yet. I guess I'll just keep drawing bigger and bigger boobs. You think those are big? I'm going to introduce a new character who has nothing but breasts. Anyway. All right. Lord El Meloy, il say, to say, nidaime say, ni say. Sure, Lord, there's too many of these things that could be Rai 1, Zeppa 1 in. Sure. Lord El Meloy, Metuoi, Tusei no Jikenboi, Ray 1, Zeppa 1 in, Grace no Tokubets. I don't give a shit about this. All right, Clock Tower Reunion. Cool. The Lord's name said over and over, but that's fine. He's a decade younger and he's become Waver Velvet, his former self, and he investigates delusion and the reunion, and he gathers his contemporaries and who transformed his body. But then it's got to be Toko Aozaki. That's fucking weird. I don't give a shit about whatever that's about. Moving on. Mahoka Koku no Retose. Don't give a shit about that show either. Moving on. Mushoku Tensei Isekai Itara Honkidas Part 2 special. It's a special with something that I think I was already missing. It's something genius, whatever it is. I know people have watched this and enjoyed it. So here you go, another thing. Non-Biri Non-Stop OVA. Yes. Good. The unaired 13th episode of Non-Stop. It got bundled with the Bioti Remember spin-off mangas compilation release. Whatever. I don't know. There'll be an OVA about it in March. I won't remember that far ahead. Doesn't matter. Onmyoji. Heian Monogatari 3. Okay. Wait. So... Right, Heike Monogatari is what I'm thinking of. I'm like, what? What is this? Okay, so there's Heian Monogatari. I can't remember if that was any good or not. Onmyoji. I don't think I didn't watch it for one thing. I didn't think they were already in the third season. So anybody here watch Heian Monogatari at all, or Onmyoji Heian Monogatari, the Heian story? Yeah, Onmyoji are like the. I just want to say, from Abenobashi Maho Shotengai. Everybody's watched Abenobashi Magical Shopping District, right? If you haven't, actually, maybe it's worth going back and see if you can find a copy of Abenobashi Magical Shopping District, because that's a weird ass show. I think that's Gainax. Anyway, yeah, I like period stuff. Like Jidaigeki are fun in a way, especially in anime, because you get to do a lot with that, and depending on how they develop it, I have no idea if this is any good or not. So, Otome wa fuck, just I didn't even get through this, and I just saw the outfits, and I was like, I see. Every girl apparently has her own personal tailor to really make all of this stuff fit. I do like how Center Girl though, she's in the come on, Beej. She's in the Sukeban style dress. She's got the long skirt, right? I want a girl with a short jacket and an incredibly long skirt. Hisoka was an orphan who was... I should read the title. Otome wa boku ni koshiteru. Maiden... The maiden I love? No. Mitsu no Kiraboshi, the animation. Hisoka was an orphan who was raised by Yukitaka. Oh, I see, it's a sequel. Probably not going to watch this. Something about the Jinsei Corporation, and he had a right-hand man named Daisuke, and secretly works for Orihime, and then Yukitaka is the St. Cyril Girl Academy, and then no boys could go in, and what? Sure, whatever. Pokemon has a movie. Here you go. It is special episodes. Sorry, distributed exclusively on Amazon Prime to promote the release of Pokemon Legends Arceus. There you go. There it is. There's the thing. Puchi Sekka Project Sekka Anniversary Festa 2021 event. I see. This is Sega's Project Sekai Colorful Stage featuring Hatsune Miku's smartphone rhythm game. So they're doing a mini anime adaptation of that. If I find, it's streamed for free on YouTube, so easy enough to find. Probably easy enough to say to Heather. It's like, look, hey, the rhythm game you play on the Switch has a YouTube thing. You want to watch an episode of it? Why not? Tales of it's a video game, a bunch of video games, and they also have animes, and I like this. This is very striking. You don't see that color combination except for like in Splatoon. Tales of Luminaria, The Fateful Crossroad. I don't care about any of this, but if you like the Tales of stuff and you like Tales of Luminaria, the game, then hey, anime. Totsukuni no Shoujo, the official Twitter account for Nagabe's The Girl from the Other Side. Seul, a rune manga. Rune? I'm never going to get that accent right. Revealed on Friday, manga will get a long-form... Manga, fuck, that's been a while. We'll get a long-form anime project. The anime will ship as an original anime DVD or an OAD. Still using DVDs. Fair enough. And it gets a bonus volume manga. I guess you have to be into The Girl from the Other Side. So there you go. I am not, and that brings me to the end of that. And so it's 11:38, which is pretty great. This is a very small thing, and if I roll back here, so yeah, Akebi-chan no Sailor Fuku. What was some other stuff in here that I can just see off of the top of my head? More of the Genjutsu Shugi Yusha, the second part of Soma, who is just trying to rebuild the country through administrative reform, except he has now done some fighting, but some kind of brilliant fighting, so good for him. It all worked out in his favor. Let's see here. I might watch Kaijin Kaihatsubu no Kuroitsu-san. We'll see. More Takagi-san. Always like that. Was not going to watch that. And keep going, and keep going, and keep going. And let's see here. Slow Loop I'm watching, which is about... And the title has to do with the fact that I believe what you're doing when you're fly fishing is you're actually making a slow loop of the line, and the line is weighted. The whole line is actually heavier than fishing line because that's what helps control the fly. Because otherwise, and it's also colored so you can see it in the water, so you know where it is. Which I thought, oh, that's very interesting. Things I'm learning. But you want to make a slow loop in the air so that as you're doing that, then when it's time to actually launch it, then you can flick your wrist out and then it will actually snap it forward. And like, yeah, it's really interesting. So slow loop. And I think that's also supposed to be the sense of the, I mean, it sounds good as a name, so why not just do that, right? Is Spy Family's launching in April? I will talk about Spy Family because boy, am I going to talk about Spy Family when the time comes. Right, and my dress up darling, so Nobisuka wa Koi wo Suru. Watching that. I will probably watch some Tensai Oji no Akaji Kokka Saisei Jutsu. I feel like I've maybe read something about this. Maybe I'm not sure. And we kind of worked through some other stuff. Baby Hamitang was the other weird thing that I'm like, what is 17 Sustainable Development Goals? Okay, cool, whatever. And I don't think there was much else buried in here. Yeah, just some leftovers. And Blue Thermal movie will come out. I'll probably watch that. The Demo movie, if Heather cares to watch it. I don't know if she will. More Production IG. All right. Yeah. And we saw, Logue is getting more stuff. It's Logue, it's Logue, it's long, it's boring, it's dull. It's Logue, it's Logue, it's not any fun at all. Everyone wants the Logue. You're gonna love a Logue. Come on, get your Logue. I'm like 54 episodes into Logue. And we just stopped. We were enjoying watching it, Heather and I, for a while. We'll maybe get back to it someday. All right. It is damn near midnight. I guess now is the question time. If anybody has any questions before I get into like if there have been subs, I think there have been a couple, and there's probably been some other like bitting and stuff, and I appreciate all that, and we'll go through the thing as it goes. But yeah, any interest in Spy Family series? Boko Chaos asked. Yes, when it airs, I will talk about it. I'll probably talk about it in the spring preview. That I am definitely looking forward to that. But I've already watched the PV for it, and if you haven't watched the Spy X Family is what you're looking for. But Spy Family, weird idea, but it got talked about in the anime, the manga threads on Something Awful a while ago when it first launched, and I was like, people are like, this looks rad, and so I read like the first couple chapters that were out, and I'm like, yes, I think this is interesting and weird, and what's going to happen with it, and it's like, boy, it wants to run for 150 chapters. It is sure trying to do that. They are definitely taking their time with the storytelling, but lots of action. I think it seems pretty cool, and if the way that the PV looks, it feels like it's going to be pretty. It's going to be pretty great. I'm going to look forward to seeing it. All right. Other questions. Let's see. Does anyone else have any? We're gonna maybe confine it. I don't know to. Whatever. Ask a question. I'll find out whether or not I'll want to engage with it or not. Doodles asks me, "You've heard about the Urusei Yatsura remake?" No, I have not. I keep wanting to watch Urusei Yatsura. I've seen like Beautiful Dreamer, and I've seen a few episodes of the first few episodes. I watched them when they were like those obnoxious aliens on VHS. I managed to find the ones that had that somebody Blockbuster I think managed to have a copy in town that had subs, which I was like, wow. And managed to watch that, and I was like, yeah, this is fun. I think I watched it at the same time I watched Gunbuster as well on VHS. But damn, Doodles, I am looking forward to seeing what a Urusei Yatsura remake is going to be like. Maybe they'll tighten it up to be like let's get just ridiculous, all the ridiculous story stuff out of the way, and kind of, the less ridiculous stuff you won't do. But I don't know, it's 200 episodes. So here's a funny thing. Back when I sold Taiwanese CDs, there was a guy who was a regular customer of mine who lived in Switzerland, and he was like, and I was like, are you sure you want to order direct through me? You order enough stuff that maybe I should just teach you how to order it yourself. And he's like, it's fine. I don't mind ordering through you. It's fine. Because I'm like, you're ordering like a couple dozen at a time, my dude. It's probably easier if you do it on your own. He's like, that's fine. You make it easy, whatever. And then he got a hold of me. He's like, hey, so I have a problem. I'm like, what's the problem? He's like, well, I'm not allowed to order. They will not Animega will not ship Urusei Yatsura to me. I'm like, why? He's like, well, I can buy the DVDs, but they won't ship to Switzerland. I'm like, that's weird. Um, and he's like, yeah. So I know that I can trust you with shipping stuff. So can I have them ship it to you? I'm like, sure. He's like, it's gonna be a bit. I'm like, fair enough, but I'll open it up, make sure it's all like in good shape, and I'll make sure it's repackaged, and then I'll like tape it back up or whatever, add extra packaging if I need to, and I'll mail it off to you. He's like, cool. And if you want to rip all the DVDs, feel free. I'm like, oh, how much could that be? And it shows up the Animeko DVD set. I think it's 3 or 4 episodes per disc, and it's 200 episodes. And I'm just like, nope, not gonna touch it. I'm not ripping 50. I have nowhere to rip 50 DVDs worth of stuff to. So I just like, it's fine, dude, and I sent it on. Um, but I and yeah, very nice guy, and I'm glad that and he got his copy of it. And briefly, I was like, I guess I could watch some of this if I wanted to. It's all right here, and it's all region one, right? So I'm like, I have no. He must have a region free DVD player as well, because we all used to do that with anime, because you never knew if you were going to buy a Japanese DVD or something. So, all right, Adamant Cheese. Did I miss if you watched Deji Meets Girl in fall 2021? I tried to, couldn't find a copy that wasn't in Spanish or German. And I'll figure that out and eventually get a chance to watch it. Are you going to watch Overlord season 4? My dude, I have Cool Bond. I have never seen Overlord to begin with. I hear it's great. A lot of people love it. Good comedy, but I'm not going to watch it because at this point I'm afraid to ask. What? That doesn't make any sense, Beej. Yeah, I know. Been asked what my favorite of everything in the season is. I mean, Isekai Shokudo was a lot of fun. I think, okay, I'm gonna roll through this real fast. Komi-san, if anything beats Komi-san, I'll say so. Lupin was really good, but I got really excited for Komi-san. Osama Ranking is really good. I was more excited to watch Komi-san than Osama Ranking, but if you're not excited to watch Komi-san, you should be watching Osama Ranking. So I would, those things there. Let's see what else we got. Kind of getting through the rest of this here. Senpai ga Uzai was really good. Again, though, Komi-san made me more excited to watch the things. I'm like, yeah, I want to see it. I watched this as well. Banished from the Heroes Party. Still wouldn't put it up there with that. Taisho Otome Otogi Benashi was a bit of a trip. It was ultimately good in the end. Again, wouldn't have thrown that up there like that. Watched one episode of that, didn't watch any more of it. Come on. Obviously, these don't count because of they were leftovers. Is there anything else that I watched? OVA ONA specials. Haven't watched the Gretzko yet. Again, yeah, Komi-san's kind of right up there with like, this is the thing I was most excited to watch all the time. When it showed up, I was like, yeah, more of that. Hey Monogatari was really good. Not my favorite. It's really good. Stone Ocean, again, really good, really exciting to be able to watch it. I forgot that I had it available to watch, so it just kind of vanished out of my mind. So when I got a chance to watch it, I was like, oh, good, you get to see this. Again, Komi-san's just so sweet, and I just really liked it. And it's just goofy and fun and ridiculous, and I was like, I like it a lot. So it kind of won out for me the entire time. Is it the best thing all season? It was for me. Probably not for anyone else. So yeah, so there we are with that. Let's see. People asking me other stuff. I did not used to sell bootleg Taiwan anime. Jibcat used to sell bootleg Taiwan anime CDs. So yeah, the slight difference there. That was a while ago. It was when I was in university. That wasn't even to make money. It was basically just so that I could order CDs myself and afford the shipping and stuff, because collective ordering. I didn't make a profit on any of that kind of stuff. There we go. There's the Urusei Yatsura 2022 anime remake. I'll have to go keeping an eye out for that. Let's see. Girl Painting asks your favorite anime genres. Slice of life is right up there. Slice of life romance comedies are kind of like, that's my jam all day, every day. Because mostly what I like to read as well these days. And yeah, I don't like shonen stuff usually. I don't like sports anime usually. I feel like I feel like a lot of those things, the ones that appeal to me, are the ones where there's where they end up being classics, right? Like I watched Megalobox recently, um, and I enjoyed it ultimately, and I'm like a great way to absorb the Ashita no Joe feeling without having to watch 70 odd episodes of Ashita no Joe. You watch the new Ashita no Joe, which is what this is, and you get it all in the 13 episodes. And now there's Nomad, which is the sequel to it. But yeah, um, isekai stuff I'm not the hottest on, but I guess I'm watching it as a guilty pleasure so far. So let's see. Do I want a YouTube playlist for? Oh, I don't know what it was for. Oh, there's a YouTube playlist for a thing. I will pull that open for the time being. What would be this season's guilty pleasure series? The one winter? See, I can't say because, frankly, everyone's gonna have a different reason to feel guilty. So for me, I can't even think of what it would be, and I want to kind of roll through a little more of these things. See if there's anybody else asking questions in here first. Let's see. I see. Everyone has moved on to talking about Dungeon Meshi, which is a great manga, by the way. And if they ever make a series about that, that will be interesting too. Um, yeah, it's it's Dungeon Meshi is really good, and the other stuff that what's her name? I used to know the mangaka's name. The other stuff that they make is also quite fun to read too. Dungeon Meshi's been really good and has really built its story. So I've really enjoyed that. So okay, my guilty pleasure before I have to go. Let's find out from this season, the new stuff coming up. The thing that I'd be like, I'm watching this because this is the kind of person I am, but I would definitely not recommend anybody else watch it because it has to do with the person that I am. Let's see. Is there anything in here where I'm like, oh, I'm watching this because I'm a sucker for this kind of thing? Mm-hmm. It just would be, I should just basically say, fine, I'll watch Shumatsu no Harem, and that'll be my guilty pleasure, but I'm not going to do that. I I think there will be people who will want like who will look at my Dress Up Darling and be like, ah, titties, no, right? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know if that's I don't know if that's like makes me feel guilty about watching it or not though, because I really try to make the argument that I'm like, it's there's value here. You sometimes have to look beyond the individual thing to be like, what's your guilty pleasure? And I'm taking guilty pleasure as what's the thing that you would tell somebody, I'm watching it, shut up, like that kind of thing. Because I've said on this show before, on these specials before, that uh, if you watch something, it's feeling embarrassed about watching something, it's fine because we're humans and we're gonna feel stuff. I don't want people to have to feel embarrassed when you're in this room. Like when you're here chatting with me right now and be like, well, I'm gonna watch that booby anime. It's like, fine, please do so. Enjoy it. Don't you don't have to talk to people about the things that you want to watch if you don't want to, and you want to keep stuff to yourself. Uh, do that. It's by and large, I don't have to like I don't think you should have to justify a lot of those choices, especially if they're not hurting people, and especially if it's not hurting yourself, because I guess that's the other thing too. Is it's like if the media you enjoy is reinforcing poor choices and poor behavior on your part, that's something then you'd have to recognize about yourself, or that's something that then people bring to your attention to be like, are you aware that by watching this you're that this it's really reinforcing this terrible behavior that you have, and you're like, oh, I didn't realize that, but now that I'm looking at it, I agree with you, as opposed to no, I think you're reading way off base. That's the hard thing, right? That's the hard thing for people to um to suss out. So I don't want people to sit here and feel like, oh, I need to be guilty about that thing. um so yeah, if you enjoy watching your booby anime, or if you enjoy boys love or girls love, or you enjoy anything that people are like, boy, that's a challenging wank, it's like, yeah, well, that's your decision to decide how that's gonna work. So RIP Sean Locke. uh let's see what else is here. Do you read most of your manga digital or physical? I read 100% of my manga digital, and it seems and scanlated, in fact. Actually, that's not true. Well, some of it I'm reading off the Shueisha reader as well, because it's not available in other places, and the fact that you can read like the most recent chapter, um, it's that's great. I love being able to read Spy Family and Hokkaido Girls Are Super Adorable, and Christ, what else do I? You know what? Let's just bring them all out. Why not? What am I reading on the Shueisha Manga Plus app? My favorites are Spy Family and "Tis Time for Torture Princess" or "Interrogation Princess," if you want to think about it that way. But "Tis Time for Torture Princess" is darling, and all the chapters are available for free. Hokkaido Girls is super adorable. I'm reading all of that. That has fallen down a bit because and I'm like, I wish this would be better than it was. Kubo Won't Let Me Be Invisible. That is gated because of how they can't publish in between chapters. You'd have to pay for that, I believe. Um, Don't Blush, Sekime-san. That apparently has everything available as well. And most recent one I added, which is again, it's a challenging read. Even If You Slit My Mouth is telling a story about a Kuchiona, the slitmouth girl or slitmouth woman, who has to and it's cute. It's a rom com. It's a little scary visually at times. Um, she's a yokai. She's a kuchiona. She's the slipmouth woman who sneaks up behind you and says, "Am I pretty?" And then if you, however you answer, she ends up murdering you or whatever. She's losing her power, and the only way that she can preserve herself before she kind of poofs out because of the Shinto beliefs, right? You don't believe in a god, eventually it just loses power and it leaves. You don't believe in a yokai, same thing. And she realizes the only way to kind of save her life is to get married to a human and marry into a human family that has a lot of power. But that human family, notoriously throughout its generations, was very much all about make deals with yokai and acquire their powers and become powerful humans as a result of that. And it's, that kind of thing. So there's a bit of that undercurrent, but what it's more about is how the agreement she makes with the boy that she's getting married to is we've got a year, and either in a year, if I can scare you, you're gonna let me go. You're gonna cancel the engagement and let me go, and I'm gonna be fine on my own. If and he's like, fine. And if you fall in love with me, everything works out in my favor. And she's like, great. I'm gonna try to scare you, and it's cute. So yeah. And she has to sew up her own mouth, and it's, oh God, it's such a weird read. It's fun though. It's I love reading yokai manga where it becomes cute. So yeah. Beej, will you be watching Bell? Yeah, if I have an opportunity to watch it, if I can find a place to watch it, I will be watching Bell when it comes out. Um, we watched Words Bubble Up Like Soda Pop. I think maybe that was on the season before even. That's on Netflix right now, and that was a good movie. I enjoyed watching that. And it is the kind of movie that it sounds like. It is a bubbly, fun summer movie. And yeah, I was talking about that with Ian today, which is why that came into mind. And so Belle is something looking forward to as well. Okay, yeah, it's time for Torture, Princess. That's the name of the manga that I was talking about beforehand, which is a comedy. It's very funny. It's the same premise every chapter, which is that's textbook gag manga, and it's funny and cute and wonderful. And it's about a captured princess who's being held captive by the demon lord, and she gets tortured every day with a new thing, and she has to hold out so that she doesn't give up any secrets. And the tortures, like, I think the first torture is curry rice. I'm just saying, it's super cute. Right. That brings us to midnight, I guess. Let us run down what's coming up next. Well, it's still a bonus stream until midnight. Let's see what's happening here. I believe it looks like Play It Forward is happening on in the Moro, Cantor Horses Club in the afternoon, and Crossing the Streams again in the evening. And then we move into Tuesday, where you'll have your 9 o'clock, your Talking Sim, and Let's Snope. Wednesday, again, more Play It Forward. Watch and Play and AFK, I believe, is what I'm seeing on my schedule, as it is anyway. Lure MTG on Thursday, and the long game And then you can just go check all this stuff at loadingreadyrun.com/live, because that's where it all is. Right, let's run the music. I know I have to do a thing where I come. Wait, that's not the right thing. I have to do this one. I have to click that. I hope that's, yeah, I clicked it and that's fine. And then I hit start. Who are we thanking? I don't even know if the music's running or not. Put the headphones on and find out. A little bit of music in the background. That's not so bad. Look at all these lovely people going by. Chiming Fish, Excalibur, Elevation, Ray Chanter. Thank you, Cam the Deer. Brand new sub. Always happy to have new subs coming to the chat. Devlen again. Nikia Tori got their 1 year in. Congratulations. Adamant Cheese, Slopopotamus, Tregolin, and Joseph Death. Joseph Death is those big 95 months. I've been seeing the 101s showing up as well. And yeah, I'm excited to see more people get into the century mark. Because all shiny and stuff. Eventually, we're getting to a point where so many people are in there. And thank you, Contingent Cat, for those 169 bits. Once we hit 100 for a whole bunch of people, we're gonna have to like change that up because we can't have everything being super shiny all the time. How do I clear that? There's a button that says clear. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Hey, that's midnight, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what time it is where you are, but for me, it is time to go home. I had a good time tonight, as always. Thank you to everybody on Twitch for your bits and your bits and your bobs, your bits and your subs, and the cheers in the chat tonight. I had a great time with you guys, and thank you to everybody on YouTube. If you've watched, enjoyed this, and you comment on things, I don't hang out in the YouTube comments that often, so I might not pop in there, but you know how it is. And then also I should mention then patreon.com/loadingreadyrun. If you want to give more money to support the stuff that we do over here. You're like, I got $5 hanging around, I got $1 hanging around. Yeah, feel free, pop in there, renew your patronage on the Patreon. And I guess other things too, because if you have a Twitch Prime sub, because you have Amazon Prime, remember your Twitch Prime subs run out every month. So go renew that for us or for somebody else if you like to as well. There's store.loadingreadyrun.com, where you can find all sorts of our interesting merchandise. And if we are out of stuff, put your name down for the stuff that you might want to buy. If it says, oh, we're out of stock, but you can give us your email address. I don't use that email address for anything like weird. I don't like look at a list later and be like, yeah, look at all those email addresses I have. That's awesome. Good stuff. It's like, not worried about that kind of stuff. I don't do anything like make a newsletter or anything. You're just going to get notified when the thing that you want, that you asked for, I want a unisex large Lure Pride shirt. Okay, well, you'll get emailed when it comes back into stock, and you can go to the site and get it. That's how that works. That's how it's always worked, because I am too lazy to be evil about your personal information. And I hate it when people get mine and start like sharing it around. It's like, I don't give out people's emails, so there we go. Anything else I want to mention? I doubt it. Yeah, that sounds great. I'm glad that you're all being really good to each other. Welcome to 2022, everybody. It is, it's more of the same, but that's life. Life is, a lot of the times it is more of the same for quite a while. And I want you all to hang tight. Because, we're all sick of being inside more often than we want to be and having to follow like unusual rules and stuff. And, I hate having to remember to wear a mask, even though I don't mind wearing my mask. I actually quite like it. It's very comfortable. It's all nice, and I have filters inside and whatnot. But it's like, my jellyfish are quite nice, and I'm happy to wear my jellyfish around everywhere. I just hate having to remember, because I'm like, oh shit, I got to go back and get my mask. And yeah. But I want you guys to take care. I want you to stay safe and stay healthy, and stay inside if you can. As often as you need to. Get good at and get a walk if you can too. Wear those masks. Get those vaccines, because they're good. And if you live in a place in the world where you don't have a vaccine yet, I hope they're coming soon. I wish I could do more to help you with that. There's not much I can do, but I want you all to be well. So at least anime is available online. And so is Loading Ready Run. And if you want stuff to chat about either way with that, our Discord at discord.gg/LRR is a great place to go and hang out with like-minded people. Very nice, safe, wonderful people. I don't post any of my memes there, though. You'll have to find them in other discords. I don't want to start posting memes in the Lure Discord because then people will start taking me to task. Be like, oh, Beej, you're flooding the Discord. Leave us alone. It's like, I will leave us alone. It'll be fine. It's lovely as always, guys. Have a good night. Take care.